Hey there, Commodores fans, and welcome into the Falmouth Commodore pregame show. I'm Daniel LaRose, joined alongside my broadcast partner, David Korzanowski. Tonight, the Falmouth Commodores play for the first time all season the Cotuit Kettleers here at Gov Fuller Field. First pitch slated for 6 p.m., and the Commodores on a 4-game winning streak, coming off of a really impressive outing. A 1-0 victory against the Orleans Firebirds, and the man to be was Scott Politz.
Scott Politz with one of the best starts for any Commodore all summer. 7 innings pitched, gave up only 2 hits. Both of them came with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Before that, he was throwing a no-hitter. Gave up no earned runs, and Falmouth squeaked one out 1-0 thanks to an RBI from Logan Davidson.
And Logan Davidson is actually going to be away from the team for a couple of days. He is going to be competing in the Home Run Derby for college baseball out in Omaha, Nebraska, as well as James Cosentino, his frequent counterpart over at second base. The Kansas Jayhawk is traveling with Kansas over to Taiwan for some international friendlies against some Taiwanese baseball clubs. So missing 2 major middle infielders, who has to step up?
Defensively, it has to be Hayden Cantrell. He's played both second base and shortstop this season. He has to be sound because Jeff Trundy's going to be going to him night in and night out. On the offensive end, they lose a little bit of production from Cosentino and Davidson. It has to be Will Brennan and Davis Sims who step up. Both of them, their batting average is a little bit below where they want to be. Brennan's had some great at-bats. He's the only player who's started in every game for Falmouth. He just hasn't found the holes. He's trying to do that, and Davis Sims trying to notch up some more extra base hits.
And moving on to tonight, Cotuit at 8-6, Falmouth at 6-8. Last time out, Cotuit defeated the Bourne Braves by a score of 6-5. And tonight's pitching matchup is a good one. Mitchell Stone versus Bryce Jarvis. Jarvis out of Duke. This will be his 3rd game started, but Mitchell Stone has been impressive, still yet to notch up a win.
Yeah, his first pitching outing was a no decision against Wareham. Then he got the loss against Harwich. He only gave up 2 runs. Both of them came with 2 outs in the 5th inning, but that was when Falmouth was really struggling on their win streak. He got little run support. He's looking for a little more depth here, and then hopefully his offense will help him out.
And speaking of offenses and pitching, we've got a great matchup on that. Cotuit has the 2nd most runs scored in the Cape League at 71 through 14 games. Meanwhile, the Commodores' 2nd least runs allowed in the Cape League at 47. Who has the edge tonight?
For me, it's Falmouth because pitching always wins in my book. Mitchell Stone has been great. I know Cotuit's bats have been hot, but I think that if a lockdown pitcher can come in for 5 or 6 innings, also Falmouth's bullpen has been solid, they might be able to squeak one out. But this is a really important matchup because Cotuit is the one team that Falmouth hasn't played, and in their 4-game win streak, Falmouth beat Brewster twice, worst team in the Cape League at 3-12-1. They beat Orleans, a team who's also struggling, and some might say that they got outplayed by Chatham. They got out-hit 9 hits to just 3 and squeaked one out 4-2 in 11 innings. So really, this is their first big test against a team that's ahead of them in the rankings.
And we'll see if the surging Commodores can continue their surge onto a 5-game winning streak, while Cotuit hopes to hold them at bay. We'll have the national anthem and first pitch for you coming right up. We're going to get out of the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now, fans, for those 2 words that we all love to hear, we would like to invite Herb to say our favorite 2 words.
Play ball!
A pleasant good evening and happy Friday to you all. Thanks for tuning into the Falmouth Commodores broadcast. And welcome into the broadcast booth. I'm Daniel LaRose. Beside me is my broadcast partner, David Korzanowski. We've got first pitch coming right up between the Falmouth Commodores and the Cotuit Kettleers. Falmouth on a 4-game winning streak, looking to continue that tonight.
No doubt about it. And on the bump is really going to be the matchup that we're watching. It's Mitchell Stone For the Commodores, he's making his third start of the year, has yet to notch up a win. We talked about it in the pregame show. Pretty good outing against Wareham and a solid outing against Harwich. He went a strong 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, and both of those runs came with 2 outs in the 5th inning. That was when Falmouth was really struggling offensively. On the other hand, for the Cotuit Kettleers, it's going to be Mr. Bryce Jarvis out of Duke University. He is a rising junior from Franklin, Tennessee. He's only making his second start, and his first start was a couple weeks ago, June 17th against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. He only went 3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So not much experience for Jarvis, and a pretty good situation here against Falmouth, who's been struggling a little bit offensively, but Mitchell Stone has also been dealing.
Mitchell Stone has been dealing. He is on the bump right now, throwing a couple warm-up pitches at that imposing 6'9" frame. And like David said, the Commodore offense, despite the 4 straight wins, still struggling quite a bit. Only won the other night against Orleans by a score of 1-0, and then scored 4 runs on only 3 hits against Chatham to squeak out a victory as well. We'll see if the bats can wake up against the Cotuit Kettleers, who have some strong bats themselves.
No doubt about it. They have the second most runs for in all of the Cape League. They have 71, and they've only played 14 games. There are teams in the Cape League who have already played 15, 16 games, so Cotuit is a very good offensive team. We're looking at Tolia, who's starting at shortstop tonight, as well as a few others. Zachary Bierman over at first base, and Eric Jones at third. They are hitters 1, 2, and 3. And this first inning will really tell us a lot.
Absolutely. We'll see if Mitchell Stone can continue his hot stretch. And as my partner began, Tolia, Bierman, and Jones, they are 1, 2, and 3. DH, first base, and third base, respectively. Will Robertson in the cleanup spot. He's playing right field. He has been tearing the cover off the ball in this 2018 summer. Peyton Burdick follows him in center. And then Mike Salvatore at second, Jacob Goldfarb in left, Adam Oviedo at short, and then rounding things out for the Kettleers is Zach Humphreys, the catcher. And right now we've got Michael Tolia, as I said, the designated hitter leading off for Cotuit against Mitchell Stone.
Red Jersey Friday here. Otherwise, these two teams would have pretty similar uniforms. They have very similar colors, both sporting the maroon.
First pitch of the night, swing and a miss by Tolia. First pitch comes in at 5:59 p.m.
And I know we're going to be keeping an eye on the time after that Orleans game flew by. It was done in an hour and 53 minutes.
One of the quickest games I have ever seen, let alone called, as this fastball runs outside, now 1-1.
And it was a full 9-inning game. We only saw 4 hits and maybe double the base runners. There were a few errors.
4 hits and 4 errors.
Yep. Almost identical stat lines.
Right.
Orleans had no runs on 2 hits, 2 errors. Falmouth had the 1 run on 2 hits and 2 errors.
Orleans could not capitalize on Falmouth errors, whereas Falmouth did just the once, but that was more than enough. And that fastball comes in at the knees. It's now 2-2 to Tolia. Bierman awaits on deck. Tolia, who now plays for UCLA, but was drafted out of high school by the Rockies in the 35th round. Watches strike number 3 on the outside corner, and the first out of the night is via the K.
Good start for Mitchell Stone. He has 11 strikeouts on the season. That's tied for second on the team. He's in a 3-way tie with Scott Politz and Ian Cook. So now he actually ties for first. Ties Spencer Strider at 12.
Now a lefty-lefty matchup for you all. Number 45, Bierman, the first baseman, watches strike number 1 at the belt.
It's a great start for Stone. In his first outing against Wareham, it took a little while for him to find the strike zone. He walked 2 batters in the first inning of his first start.
Bierman swings at this one, fouls it towards the left side, running over is Cameron Cannon, but that one falls out of play just behind the Cotuit dugout, now 0-2.
Bierman, a rising senior at Coastal Carolina. He transferred from Polk State. So last year was his first year at Coastal Carolina, batted .302.
The 0-2 runs upstairs. Polk State, actually, I was talking with Haley, one of our other interns before. We both go to school in Florida. So many amazing JUCOs in Florida. Polk State is one of them. Plenty of great guys come out of there. As this one swung on and missed by Bierman. The first 2 batters for Cotuit are strikeout victims to Mitchell Stone.
Can't start much better than that. Maybe Spencer Strider can. In his first inning against Chatham, he struck out 1, 2, and 3 on 11 pitches. He threw 1 ball and then had 1 foul ball, 3 strikeouts, a near immaculate inning. So far, Mitchell Stone has thrown only 3 balls.
Kicks and delivers pitch number 1 to Eric Jones. He watches that on the inside corner, strike number 1.
He's dealing and throwing mainly fastballs so far. And we're seeing a lot of these Falmouth pitchers upping the tempo.
Big looping breaking ball, does not break, stays upstairs, now 1-1. Yeah, Mitchell Stone is one of those guys who always keeps a quick pace. Just now he's right back, set and ready to kick his windup. Ball number 2 in the dirt.
Eric Jones from Davidson. He's also a rising senior. He's listed as a catcher for the Kettleers, but is playing third base here today.
Always nice to see the versatility out of catchers, as this one fouled back. 2-2 goes the count, and he was a pretty good catcher back in high school. Number 3 catcher out of North Carolina, originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's now facing a 2-2 count, 2 out and nobody on here in the top of inning number 1. Stays alive by fighting this pitch off to the right side.
We saw a similar at-bat from Michael Tolia to start things off. It was a 2-2 count, and then he fouled off the third pitch before striking out looking.
Stone, who doesn't have one specific strikeout pitch, this time goes to the fastball. It's flared over to the right side. Edward Julian fields it on a forehand. He throws it on over to first base, and a 1-2-3 inning is dealt by the Oklahoma State Cowboy Mitchell Stone. Now heading into the bottom of inning number 1. Falmouth looking to take a lead. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Falmouth, Massachusetts. The Commodores and the Kettleers tied up at 0. We approach the bottom of inning number 1. And Will Brennan set to lead things off for the Commodores, who's been struggling, but he doesn't really deserve it.
Back at the leadoff spot is Will Brennan since Davidson is out of town. Brennan takes a first pitch ball, close pitch there from Jarvis. And yeah, Brennan batting 173, but he's the only Falmouth Commodore to start in all 15 games. He has the most at-bats on the team and only 7 strikeouts.
Tries to check his swing there, but is called 1-1.
And he just hasn't found the gaps. He had a really hard hit ball to right center field, but the speed of Orleans' right fielder did him in. He was 0 for 4 on Wednesday.
He now faces a 2-1 count. We've been talking about how he's been hitting the ball hard, has been working pretty lengthy at bats. This one cracked over to the right side. It's fielded cleanly by Mike Salvatore. He throws on to first, and it's a 4-3 putout for the first out of the night for the Commodores. So Will Brennan once again goes down.
It's just a tough stretch for Will Brennan.
That's baseball.
That is baseball, and it shows just how competitive this league is. He's been batting over 300 nearly his whole life. As Hayden Cantrell takes strike number 1, he's exceeded expectations at Kansas State. He was great in the Alaska League last year, was an Alaska League All-Star, but taking a little bit of time to settle here on the Cape.
Ball in the dirt to Cantrell, and he's not striking out a ton either. He's putting the ball in play, but like we said, just can't catch a break right now, and sometimes that's baseball. Sometimes you hit into slumps where it's not quite your fault. The 1-1-2 Cantrell, who's getting the start with Davidson's absence, is a breaking ball outside 2-1. Going
to be interested to see how Hayden Cantrell responds to being back in probably a consistent starting role, at least until Davidson is back.
Checks his swing, but still makes contact with it. It's a foul ball, 2-2.
He started those first few games before Davidson got into town.
Right.
And had a huge triple in the first game of the year against Hyannis. Reached base a lot.
2-2 is in the dirt, 3-2. He works another 3-2 count. We've talked about it a ton this season. We'll talk about it some more. He's great at working full counts, great at walking as well. It was the main reason that he was put in those 9-1 holes when he does get the start. He's basically a double leadoff man if you put him in the 9 hole.
He has 14 walks on the season.
Payoff pitch to Cantrell. Does he check his swing? No, he does not, says home plate umpire Jim Fonseca. Hayden doesn't think so, but he slowly picks up his bat, shakes his head, and heads to the dugout. It's a strikeout swinging against Cantrell, and Stephen Williams, the right fielder, will step up, 2 men out.
Home plate umpire Jim Fonseca did not hesitate to ring up Cantrell. Cantrell obviously didn't like it. He was about a quarter of the way down the line.
First pitch to Williams is upstairs. It was Brennan, Cantrell, and Williams, center field, shortstop, and then right field. Davis Sims at first base is on deck. Kyle Stowers follows him. He's in left. Maverick Hanley, the catcher. Then Edward Julian, the second baseman, as ball number 2 runs inside to Williams. And then the final 2 Commodores in the lineup. Cameron Cannon, who's playing third base, and C.J. Schaefer getting the start as the DH. Once again, no Logan Foster in this Falmouth lineup, as this one is cracked towards the bullpen, and a chorus of legs rise up to avoid that one.
Yeah, I'm interested in the fact that Logan Foster hasn't been put in DH spot in the last few games. It's been one of the catchers, Hanley or Schaefer.
2-1 is cracked into center field, but under it was Williams, and this one, with plenty of room, making the play is Peyton Burdick. So a 1-2-3 inning worked by Bryce Jarvis, and back to the bump goes Mitchell Stone. Falmouth and Cotuit tied at 0.
The Sacred Cod Tavern at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa, a quintessential New England dining experience for lunch or dinner, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Back here in Falmouth, 0-0 game between the hometown Commodores and the visiting Kettleers. Will Robertson, the right fielder for Cotuit, steps in, and he is facing off against the big lefty Mitchell Stone, a lefty-lefty matchup, and ball number 1 runs outside.
I don't know if you noticed this between innings, but you know how at the end the catcher throws down to second?
Yeah.
Mitchell Stone really has to bend down to get out of the way of that ball. Other players can just kind of, you know,
Check swing, he went around, says third base umpire Mickey Garcia.
Can kind of lean to the side, bend
Right.
down a little bit. I mean, Mitchell Stone literally has to get into like the fetal position on the bump because he's so big.
Breaking ball too far inside, 2-1. He might as well just run off the mound, run towards
Right.
the third base side or something.
Not the fastest guy either. Although he does jog to and from the dugout quite a bit between innings.
Another check swing. Does Garcia say he goes around this time? He says he does not. It's 3-1 to Robertson. Just missing the outside corner. Robertson works a walk. It's the first base runner of the game. And Peyton Burdick will follow up. Nobody on and one man on base.
Will Robertson, who now stands at first base, led his high school to a Class 3 state title back in 2015, and he had the game-winning home run in the 8th inning. Sure, a highlight memory for Robertson.
Peyton Burdick, the center fielder for Cotuit, who recorded the final out of inning number 1 on a long hit fly ball by Williams. And the runner goes, throw down to second base on a hop, fielding it cleanly and slapping on the tag is Hayden Cantrell. Will Robertson wastes no time trying to swipe a bag, but he is gunned down by Maverick Hanley, whose defensive prowess is showing once again.
And not even a great throw from Maverick Hanley, but he had such a quick pop time that even the throw on the bounce was able to get Will Robertson in time, and just like that, the base is clear.
The 0-1 is swung on and missed, now 0-2, or excuse me, 1-1. First pitch was a ball. And credit Hayden Cantrell, the shortstop, with the nice pick and tag on. So the 1-1 is swung on and inside outed towards the right side foul.
And this is the fastest pace we've seen Mitchell Stone work at. He is ready to go in the windup when Will Robertson steps in, and he's waiting on Jim Fonseca, the home plate umpire, too. And once they're ready to go, he is immediately into his rotation.
Delivers a ball below the knees to Burdick, 2-2. Peyton Burdick out of Wright State from Batavia, Ohio. He batted .347 this past season with 19 doubles. This one runs upstairs, now a full count. Burdick, one of the top doubles getters in the NCAA, helping Wright State to that regional bid. Payoff pitch, swung on, flare shot towards the right side. Julian misplays it at first, comes on in, and makes the grab on a fly. So 2 outs now thanks to the caught stealing and the pop out to the second baseman Julian. And Mike Salvatore, second baseman himself, will step up to the plate.
That fastball was inside, so it came off of the thin part of the bat from Peyton Burdick. That's why it was so softly hit over to Julian. Julian thought it had a little more gas on it, but then had to come in to make the catch.
Fastball runs up and away to Salvatore, who's now at Florida State, but initially a transfer from Northwest Florida State College. We were talking about Polk State being a great JUCO out of Florida, producing plenty of great players after their 2 years. Northwest Florida State, another good one. That fastball in the inside corner, 1-1.
Batted .293 in his last year at Northwest Florida State, but was drafted out of high school as well in the 19th round.
This one runs outside, 2-1. That was back in 2015. Salvatore is a rising senior. One of the older guys on this Cotuit lineup. 2-1, cracked over to short. Hayden Cantrell with a little bit of a jump, and he makes the catch on a line. And just like that, the Falmouth Commodores are back up to the dish. We head to the bottom of inning number 2, 0-0.
first baseman from Murray.
Bottom two set to get underway. Nothing between the Kettleers and the Commodores. Davis Sims, Kyle Stowers, and Maverick Hanley. 4, 5, and 6 ready to do the batting for the Falmouth Commodores up against Bryce Jarvis, who worked a clean 1-2-3 first inning as ball number 1 upstairs to Sims.
Surprised you didn't use one of our favorite terms last half inning. Quasi 1-2-3.
Quasi 1-2-3. We gotta coin that thing.
We do.
Stamp
Because
the copyright.
the leadoff runner did reach Will Robertson on a walk, but then he was caught stealing. So only 3 batters faced for Mitchell Stone in the top of the second.
Ball below the knees. 3-0 now to Davis Sims. That's one of my favorite things about baseball is you can face only 27 batters in a game and yet still not even have a no-hitter.
Right.
It's crazy. Strike on the outside corner now, 3-1 to the Murray State Racer.
Well, we saw Scott Politz absolutely dealing in his last outing on Wednesday. He went 6 2/3 without giving up a hit, and he only had 3 base runners in that time.
Another beautiful pitch on the outer half. Full count to Davis Sims. Stowers, the left fielder out of Stanford, awaits on deck. And Sims cracks this one foul.
Again, a very similar at-bat that we're seeing here from Davis Sims. Hayden Cantrell also had a full count, fouled off the 3-2 pitch, and then struck out. He thought it was ball 4.
3-2, once again fouled towards the same spot, making the third base coach run a little bit. Jarvis, who now has just thrown more strikes than balls, 11-10. Getting into a lot of deep counts as Sims pops this one up towards the right side in foul territory. Coming in on it is Bierman, and he makes the grab for out number 1.
Sims got way under that one, just trying to protect with a 3-2 count. Saw a pitch that he thought was a strike, but just got under it. Plenty of time for Bierman over in foul territory.
First pitch to the lefty Stowers, a slider that stays upstairs 1-0. That's what I've been pointing out about Davis Sims is his average looked solid, but his swing just wasn't right. He's getting under a lot of baseballs. And right there's a great pitch to hit. Is this one belted into deep right field. Running back is Will Robertson at the track, at the wall, and this ball is gone. Kyle Stowers, solo home run over the right field fence. He beats a leaping Will Robertson, and the Falmouth Commodores jump out to a 1-0 lead.
Only the second home run we've seen here at Gov Fuller Field off of the bat of a Falmouth Commodore. First home run of the year for Kyle Stowers, and he got under that one too, but it just kept carrying. Will Robertson made a play at the fence but couldn't get up far enough. Kind of similar to his teammate Maverick Hanley's home run at Chatham, just kind of kept carrying and was able to sneak out of right field.
Speaking of Maverick Hanley, he lines a ball foul. It's now 0-1 to another Stanford player. And you're right, that one just kept going. Looked like he got under it, thought it was going to be a fly out to right. This one popped towards the right side once again. Bierman ranging back. It's near the Falmouth bullpen, and it drops just in front of Will Robertson. He couldn't make the grab. But as I was saying, got under it, just kept going and going and going. And then finally, Robertson, looking over his shoulder a couple times, leaps at the wall just past his outstretched glove. He made a great effort, but just couldn't reel it in.
And he made a great effort on that last play, too. Foul ball over by the Falmouth bullpen, and he got over there in a hurry. Just couldn't quite make the catch and went tumbling into that fence down on the third base side.
Now 0-2 to Handley. He watches a breaking ball just fall below his knees, now 1-2. So chalk that up as the 4th home run for the Falmouth Commodores on the year. 4 separate players have hit them as well as Hanley swings and misses at that breaking ball. He goes down on strikes. The second strikeout of the night for Bryce Jarvis. And Edward Julian will step up to the plate, 2 out and nobody on.
Going back to that home run, that's where we see Kyle Stowers. His big swing helps him out when he makes contact, because even though it was one that we thought he got under, because he has such a powerful swing, puts so much muscle into it, he was able to sneak out.
First pitch to Julian, taken upstairs. Just about every single Commodore home run this season has just snuck over the wall as well. Sims is in dead center against Yarmouth Dennis. Barely beats the wall. And then Cosentino, he hooked one just inside the foul pole. Maverick Hanley hit the foul pole, or just about right next to it. And then just now, Kyle Stowers barely beating the glove of Will Robertson. Strike number 1 on the outside corner, and that would have been a spectacular robbed home run had Robertson reeled that in. 2-1 to Julian, the Auburn Tiger. He swings, cracks this one over to the right side. Mike Salvatore fields it cleanly on his forehand, throws it on over to first, and that will retire the side in inning number 2. But Kyle Stowers gets the Commodores on the board. Now 1-0 thanks to his loud solo home run. We head to the top of the third, 1-0 in favor of Falmouth.
Hey Commodore fans, want to upgrade your view to the best seat in the house at the Gov? Then rent the Crow's Nest atop the Sports Shack. The rental is just $25 per person for the game.
Jacob Goldfarber, rising senior at Oregon.
He watches a nice slider break over the outside corner. Beautiful movement by Stone, now 1-2.
Hit .308 last year. 6 home runs, 29 RBIs. But struggling coming into this game, only 1 for 11 in a Kettleers uniform.
1-2 on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. A fastball looked like a two-seamer out of the hand of Mitchell Stone. Catches Goldfarb with his bat on his shoulders, and that is the 3rd strikeout thrown by Stone.
And a little bit of a wide strike zone from Jim Fonseca. He called a couple of those pitches that Goldfarb thought were outside to the lefty would be inside to the righty. We'll keep an eye on the strike zone throughout the night, but been consistent so far.
Adam Oviedo, the shortstop for the Kettleers, steps in, batting from the right side, and that one apparently hit him on the foot, I guess. I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, but he whipped his foot back trying to avoid it, and it must have nicked his leg. So Mitchell Stone allows a second base runner, the first via a walk, the second by a hit by pitch.
Brings up Zach Humphreys, who is a rising junior at TCU. He's catching tonight.
Ball 1 outside. His teammate Oviedo at TCU and now on the Kettleers stands at first base. Did you hear or see where that hit Oviedo? Was it the leg?
No, but we can't really see down here because
No,
the home plate umpire was in the way as well.
Right.
And he didn't really hesitate running over to first.
Right, I trust that it hit him. I'm just confused where.
And it looks like Mitchell Stone didn't put up a fight either, so.
Must have been that right leg that Oviedo whipped back. Zach Humphreys now ahead 2-0. Leadoff man Tolia is on deck. Stone steps off.
So this is interesting. Cotuit has 4 players listed as catchers on their website, and 3 are playing today. One's playing third, one's playing left, and 1 is catching.
Strike number 1 just scrapes the outside corner.
Goldfarb is listed as a catcher. He's in left field. Eric Jones listed as a catcher is at third. Zach Humphreys, who is up right now, is doing the catching today for Cotuit.
Ball 3 upstairs, now 3-1. Now keep in mind the Commodores also have 3 catchers on their roster. All 3 of them are also in the lineup. CJ Schaefer DHing, Maverick Hanley doing the catching, and Steven Williams playing right field.
Looks like Steven Williams is going to be in right for the Commodores this season.
Yeah, he's become the mainstay outfielder along with Brennan in center and Stowers in left. It's become pretty standard. 3-1 to Humphreys. Ball number 4, up and away. So after recording a strikeout against Goldfarb, Mitchell Stone allows the next 2 batters to get on with free passes. That brings up the top of the order, and Michael Tolia with 2 men on and only 1 out.
Number 20, Michael Tolia.
So first time through the order, it was 7 up, 7 down, kind of. Will Robertson reached on a walk, but then was caught stealing. Now 2 back-to-back base runners 8 and 9, and you don't want to be giving free passes, especially to the bottom of the order, because then it brings up the top with runners on and runners in scoring position.
For sure. Those are the guys you are supposed to get out with more ease than the rest of the lineup, and you're not even challenging them if you're walking and hitting them. But Tolia did go down looking. Bierman, who's behind him, did go down swinging. Mitchell Stone has had their number thus far. He delivers ball number 1 outside. Maverick Hanley came out to talk to his pitcher Stone in between Humphreys and Tolia.
This was a similar situation where Stone ran into trouble in the bottom of the 5th against Harwich.
This one cracked foul towards the right side.
It was runners on first and second, and he gave up a couple of doubles. Those were the 2 earned runs that Mitchell Stone gave up.
Tolia, a UCLA Bruin, came into this one batting 125, only 2 hits through 16 at-bats. Stone steps off once again, just can't quite seem to get comfortable up there. He's now down to 2 for 17 is Tolia after that strikeout back in inning number 1. The 1-1 off-speed pitch swung on and missed. Beautiful stuff by Mitchell Stone. Tolia was way out ahead.
Nice changeup from Mitchell Stone. Gets out in front of the count. Trying to settle down here in his first real jam of the game.
Oviedo on second, Humphreys on first. A couple of TCU Horned Frogs on the base paths. The 1-2 upstairs and away, now 2-2.
Seems like Mitchell Stone's control kind of comes and goes. Now we've seen 3 batters in a row where he gets into a little bit of trouble throwing a couple balls.
The 2-2 to Tolia. Fouled away, well out of play. We'll try again at 2-2.
That one landed on the sidewalk way over by the rec center basketball court. Nice crowd on hand here at Falmouth. What do you think? Best of the year so far?
I want to say there's a game a couple of nights ago, excuse me, that had more. This one bounced up the middle past the diving Edward Julian. Rounding third and heading home is Oviedo. Heading over to third is Zach Humphreys. Oviedo scores without a throw. It's an RBI single for Michael Tolia. And just like that, tied up at 1 here in Falmouth.
Right up the middle, as you said, would have been a spectacular play from Edward Julian. Just got there a second too late. And that's sometimes what you have to do to come back is just scrounge and find a way. Oviedo reached on a hit by pitch. Humphreys on a walk. Now runners on the corners and just 1 out.
And just like that, the avoidable mistakes made by Mitchell Stone have come back to bite him. Ministers 2 free passes. 1 has scored. The other one now 90 feet away with the go-ahead run. First pitch to Zach Bierman is upstairs, 1-0. Unfortunate for Stone as well after throwing such a great outing his last time out, allowing only 2 runs, still getting the loss. Now all of a sudden already has run support, can't quite find his stuff. He throws another ball upstairs, falling hard towards that third base side. And yeah, Mike Landry's going to come out and talk to him. He's noticing that the mechanics are starting to falter for Stone.
Still early here in this game. It's a hot one as well. But as you said, first jam that Mitchell Stone has faced today. And as we said, he's only given up 1 hit. And now 4 base runners. Just trying to get out of a jam here. Mike Landry coming, trying to calm him down, as is Maverick Hanley. Something I've noticed, too, is I like looking at the catcher-pitcher relationships. Just see how comfortable these guys feel. Notice Scott Politz throws a lot to C.J. Schaefer. Obviously, Ian Cook and C.J. Schaefer are at college together in Western Illinois. But I've seen a lot of really good chemistry from Stone and Hanley. It seems like they're always on the same page. Hanley knows what to call when they come out and talk on the mound. They always go back to their positions with a smile. I saw that especially against Harwich. And here in the first 2 innings, I saw it as well. Stone was dealing, going quick between pitches. Now he just kind of has to settle in, and Hanley trying to help him out as well.
Umpire Jim Fonseca came out to talk to them and broke up the powwow between Landry, Handley, and Stone. Stone back out on that rubber, pitching from the stretch. He's facing a 2-0 count against Zachary Bierman. Runners on the corners. Corners are in for the Commodores. Infield at middle play, double play depth, excuse me, as this one is swung on and missed by Bierman, 2-1. Cantrell and Julian looking to turn 2 on a ground ball towards them. Cannon and Sims looking to hold the runner over at third. 2-1. Popped towards the left side. Hanley gives it a look, but it'll settle out of play, 2-2.
And those are a great couple pitches. Down 2-0. Throw a pitch downstairs and get Bierman to chase. Make him foul off a pitch, all of a sudden you're even.
And he's hit the strike zone with those 2 pitches after missing badly with his first 2. Now 2-2 to Bierman. And the breaking ball is fouled up towards the screen. We'll try again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stone kicks and delivers the 2-2. Fouled once again. Bierman really making Mitchell Stone work.
And this is a nice at-bat from Bierman as well. You know the pitcher's struggling. You just got to try to foul off the strikes and find a pitch to hit. That's what Tolia did on a 2-2 count. He fouled off a pitch and then singled up the middle. Bierman trying to do more of the same here.
Stone trying to put hhim down. The 2-2, he will wait as the pickoff attempt over to first base yields no tag. Seen a lot of fastballs with 2 strikes from Stone all season, and specifically in this at-bat as well. We'll see if he tries to go to a breaking pitch. Maybe get Bierman to chase. The 2-2, another fastball, and this one just misses outside. Had the accuracy height-wise, was right at the belt, but just a tad outside.
And Jim Fonseca has been calling that outside strike to the lefties, but that one maybe just a little bit farther outside.
Payoff pitch fouled up towards the left side. Running from first was Tolia, but he'll have to head back, and this 3-2 count really putting a toll on Mitchell Stone. Bierman as well. I mean, he's the one who's making it go even further, but you've got to understand that there's a lot of fatigue between the 2 of them working so hard under this hot sun.
9th pitch of the at-bat coming up.
9th pitch of the at-bat is a base hit through the hole along the left side. That will score Humphreys from third. Mitchell Stone allowing back-to-back RBI singles, and the Cotuit Kettleers take a 2-1 lead.
Great at-bat from Bierman. 9 pitches, and
A highlight reel Rob home run of Kyle Stowers, but it just beat his glove that was dangling over the right field wall. Got Tolia on second, Bierman on first. Robertson facing in 0-1. He lines this one into right center field. Coming on is Williams. He cuts it off. They throw into the plate. Is up the line, up the third base line. It's blocked by Maverick Hanley, but sliding in safely and scoring is Michael Tolia. Zach Bierman advances only to second base, and on first with an RBI single is Will Robertson. It's now 3-1 Cotuit.
Now batting the center fielder from Wright State.
It's been a great half inning for Cotuit. Hitters 8 and 9 reached on a hit by pitch and a walk. And those are stats that you keep track of. Easily avoidable from the pitcher, and they come back to bite Falmouth here. The first 2 runs of the game for Cotuit, but then hitters 1 through 4, 3 of them had a single.
This one is belted into center field. Ranging back with plenty of time is Will Brennan, and Mitchell Stone gets out of the inning, but he allows 3 runs, 3 singles, all of them RBIs for the Kettleers. And we head into the bottom of inning number 3. Falmouth now down by a score of 3-1, looking to claw back. Back here in Falmouth, Massachusetts, the Commodores stepping up to the plate for the bottom of inning number 3. All of a sudden down 2 runs. They jumped out to a 1-0 lead after a Kyle Stowers solo home run, but then Mitchell Stone allowing 3 singles, all of them yielding runs for the Kettleers. This one is lined into left field, but making a sliding grab is Jacob Goldfarb. So Cameron Cannon gets really good contact on the first pitch he sees of the game, but right at Goldfarb for out number 1.
Struggles continue for Cameron Cannon as well. He's batting only 159 coming into today. As we said, hard piece of contact from the third baseman, but couldn't find a hole. And that's been the story for some of these Falmouth hitters. They're hitting the ball well. We saw the same thing with Austin Maisel when he was on the team. Just can't quite land them for base hits.
Seems like Will Brennan and Cameron Cannon both hitting similar struggles, as first pitch to C.J. Schaefer is a foul ball. Schaefer now down 0-2 against Bryce Jarvis, who, despite that 1 home run from Kyle Stowers, has been dealing otherwise. This one into center field. Peyton Burdick with plenty of time. He makes the grab for out number 2, so fly out to left and now a fly out to center for the first 2 outs of inning number 3. And Will Brennan, the leadoff man, stepping up with nobody on and 2 out.
We've seen a few balls hit to the outfield, which is a good sign for the Commodores. Only 1 hit on the day. It was the long ball from Kyle Stowers. Now Will Brennan trying to get things going.
Brennan watches one fall inside 1-0 to the Kansas State Wildcat, who has seen his average now drop below 173. Still yet to hit double digits on the hit column. It's now 1-1.
1-1 pitch from Jarvis. This one lined back through the middle, and that is a base hit for Will Brennan, a much-needed base hit to try to get him off the schneid. Not very hard hit, just kind of flung his bat out on it, got it on the end of the barrel, but a base hit nonetheless, and it's a 2-out base runner for the Commodores.
This is why it's so good to have Will Brennan on the base paths, because he has a lot of speed, too. He can steal bases. He's the center fielder for the Commodores, so you know he's got some wheels. And just gives him some confidence and hopefully the rest of the team.
Second hit of the night for the Commodores as the first pitch to Hayden Cantrell runs outside 1-0. And baseball is weird. Will Brennan, so many hard hit balls and good counts, and now he just, on a 1-0 pitch, throws his bat out at the ball and gets this soft little line drive through the middle. And it's like, I've been hitting the ball like crazy beforehand, and then I get a break on this one where it wasn't my best stuff.
He'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hayden Cantrell calls time and swats a fly away.
Hayden Cantrell trying to reverse his fortune from his first at-bat. It was a 3-2 count, fouled off a pitch, and then tried to hold up. Thought it was ball 4, but Fonseca rang him up for a strikeout. One of 2 strikeouts on the day for Jarvis.
A questionable one, as typically the home plate umpire would yield towards the third base umpire to ask him if he had went around. 1-1 runs outside. Cantrell now ahead 2-1.
We saw Stone struggle a little bit with his control in the third inning. Jarvis a little bit as well. Some of his balls high and outside that release point, not where he needs it to be.
Pickoff attempt on Brennan over at first base. He slides back in safely. Steven Williams, the right fielder, waits on deck. He hit a long fly ball into center field that Peyton Burdick recorded for the final out of inning number 1. 2-1, just above the letters against Cantrell, now 3-1.
Just got a stat from the man to my right, sideline and web reporter Greg Levinsky. That was that hit from Will Brennan broke an 0 for 10 slump.
Much needed, like we said, is that pitch on the outside corner. Hayden Cantrell, I don't think he knew it was a ball. I think he saw the time it took Jim Fonseca to make the call, so then he assumed it was ball number 4.
I think he thought it was a ball.
You think so? That one was a good pitch.
But he dropped the bat almost immediately. And this is what I've been saying is, like, sometimes I laugh at pitches like that just because you know the umpire cannot be happy with you.
Right.
That's why, I don't know, if I was in there, I would just wait until I hear the call.
He draws the walk nonetheless as the 3-2 breaking ball breaks too far outside, and Cantrell is on first base. Brennan is on second base, and the 3-hitter Steven Williams with 2 ducks on the pond and 2 outs looking to make something happen.
Just the man they want up at the plate. Even though Steven Williams struggled last game against the Orleans Firebirds, he went 0 for 4. But on Sunday against Brewster, he was 4 for 8, including 3 for 4 in that game number 1. Had a double and 2 singles. And now the infield pitcher and catcher are going to have a conference. It is Jerry Weinstein who does the visits to the pitching mound. And he's a pretty spry pitching coach, I'd say.
Yeah, he ran out there, had a quick talk.
He's got to be one of the fastest coaches I've seen today.
Right back out.
Jerry Weinstein was the manager for Team Israel for the WBC.
Steven Williams tries to hold up his swing, but he does go around 0-1. Quick talk with Bryce Jarvis to try to settle things down after he allowed a single and then a walk. His control hasn't been terrible, but there have been a handful of 3-ball counts. Now 0-1 to Williams. He watches ball number 1 upstairs.
And we're seeing similar outings from Stone and Jarvis. Saw a visit from Mike Landry in the top of the 3rd. And now Weinstein here with Jarvis in the bottom.
The 1-1 fastball falls below the knees. 2-1.
And we haven't seen Cantrell or Williams swing a lot in these at-bats. I wonder if maybe the hitting coach is telling them to lay off until they see a pitch they like.
Williams sees a pitch he likes and takes a big hack at it, but comes up empty. Now 2-2 with 2 on and 2 out. Commodores down 2. Williams trying to do whatever he can to at least get on base, continue this inning.
and that was a juicy pitch that he just couldn't quite time correctly. The 2-2 grounded over to first base, but foul.
Williams got a break there. I thought that was going to hang inside of the first baseline, but now he gets another chance.
Bryce Jarvis, as we mentioned, out of Duke, originally from Franklin, Tennessee, and he had a great freshman year at Duke. Started 5 games, appeared in 25 as a freshman, and went 5-1 with a 2.46 ERA. This one lined straight towards the first baseman, Zach Bierman. Looked like it might get over his head and be up the line, but it died into his glove. The Commodores strand 2 and score none. We head to the top of inning number 4, still 3-1 Cotuit.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
Back here in Falmouth, where Mitchell Stone's day is now done, and A.J. Block, the Washington State Cougar, will pitch in relief to start the 4th inning for the Falmouth Commodores.
A.J. Block has struggled a little bit here this summer in Falmouth. He's had 3 outings, only 2 innings pitched.
This one lined straight over to Hayden Cantrell. He fields it on a fly, holds up the ball to prove it, and gets the out call. So 1 pitch and 1 out as A.J. Block gets a line out off of Michael Salvatore.
A.J. Block came in relief against Wareham after Mitchell Miller, who was after Mitchell Stone, and he got the loss when he gave up a 3-run home run to Andrew Vaughn. Also gave up a 3-run home run to Ben Watson of the Harwich Mariners during an 8-0 loss on Father's Day, and came in for only a third of an inning against Hyannis. It's because Mike Landry was using the lefty-lefty matchup in that game.
Lefty-lefty matchup here as Jacob Goldfarb watches ball 1 below his knees. So the final line for Mitchell Stone, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs scored, all of them earned. Ball number 2 outside. He also had 3 strikeouts as well and 2 walks. A lot of 3s on that line. Now A.J. Block will do the pitching for the Commodores, looking to keep this a 2-run game, hoping that their offense can wake up a little bit more than it already has, only 1 run on 2 hits. Foul ball towards the left side. Cameron Cannon is tracking it, but it will fall out of play. Now 2-1.
A.J. Block settling in nicely so far here today. He had a walk in that outing against Hyannis as well. Only 2 walks issued on the year, 4 strikeouts. It's really just the runs category where he struggled.
He throws a curveball that falls outside 3-1. The runs category and specifically the home runs, as he's allowed 6 runs on those 2 big flies, each of them being 3-run home runs. Just has to avoid the long ball. The 3-1 swung on in a big hack by Goldfarb, but missed. Now 3-2. Adam Oviedo awaits on deck. Payoff pitch to Goldfarb, fouled back into the screen. We'll try again. we had an interesting stat line last inning where there were 4 hits in the game, 4 runs. Every single hit produced a run. And now it's broken. 2 hits for the Commodores.
Dang
so
it.
5 hits and 4 runs. It was an interesting stat. Curveball misses inside. It's a walk worked by Jacob Goldfarb.
Nice at bat for Goldfarb. 7 pitches from A.J. Block. And then saw that curveball coming way inside. Trots down to first. And this is how Cotuit got things going in the 3rd inning. It was with 1 out. Oviedo was hit by a pitch. Humphrey walked. They both came around to score.
That's something I noticed with this Kettleers team. They work a lot of counts deep, and they have very good eyes, especially with 2 strikes. Don't chase a lot of pitches. Ball number 1 falls below the knees of Oviedo. In fact, 2 of the 3 Mitchell Stone strikeouts were looking, just proving how patient this team is.
Patient to a fault, perhaps.
Right.
Both of these teams very similar in the walks category. Coming into today, Cotuit had 53, Falmouth had 52. Team leader in walks is Thomas Dillard, who is not starting today, but is that 4th catcher on this Kettleers roster. He's from Ole Miss.
Swing and a miss by Oviedo. Count even at 1-1. Adam Oviedo, who plays his baseball at TCU, but was a former 35th round draft pick by the Minnesota Twins. I was coming off of a first-team All-State as a senior. The 1-1. Lined up the third base line. That's a fair ball and heading into the corner. Fielding it is Kyle Stowers. He still has a ways to go. And stopping over at third base is Jacob Goldfarb. Trotting into second base with a 1-out double is Adam Oviedo. Now there are runners on second and third. Only 1 out for Zach Humphreys.
The catcher from TCU, number 18, Zach Humphreys.
I've seen a few of those doubles just right down the line this season. Those can be really tough plays to field because they sneak past the third baseman and the first baseman, and then it's a long way to go for the outfielders. Sometimes when you think double, you think long fly ball in the gap between center and left or center and right. But
well, that one was just so softly hit that it died in the outfield grass, and Kyle Stowers had such a long way to run just to catch up to it, let alone, head back towards the wall and grab it. Showing bunt is Humphreys. He pulls it back and watches a curveball for strike 1. A.J. Block, now with his work cut out for him, he has not done well with runners in scoring position. Trying to change that tune tonight. The 0-1 to Humphreys. He does lay down a bunt up the first base side. Beautifully done. That will score the runner from third, Goldfarb. And A.J. Block fielded it cleanly but made no throw over to first base. So the Commodores get no outs out of the bunt, the safety squeeze as they call it. Perfectly laid down by Humphreys. That was textbook. Up the first base line. You can't get the out at home. He had him at first base. It would have been a close play, but Block deciding to eat it questionably.
I thought he had Humphreys over at first base. I don't know if he thought Sims wasn't there, if he thought Humphreys was going to beat it out. But I think if he lets go of that ball, I mean, he was ready to underhand it. I don't know if then he thought he should go overhand.
This one lined right back to Block. He goes to second for 1. Cantrell on to first for out number 3. So a 1-6-3 double play does get A.J. Block out of the inning, but a safety squeeze bunt by Zach Humphreys brings in Jacob Goldfarb, and the Cotuit Kettleers extend their lead to 4-1. We'll be right back with the bottom of inning number 4.
Back here in the bottom of the fourth. And Danny, you talked about Adam Oviedo, 35th round draft pick by the Twins out of high school. And Trevor Larnach, past Falmouth Commodore, 20th overall pick by the Minnesota Twins, played for Falmouth last year, as this one's fouled back by Davis Sims, and one of 3 Falmouth Commodores who won the College World Series last night for Oregon State. It was Trevor Larnach, Caden Grenier, and Adley Rutschman, the CWS MVP. Ball one in the dirt to Sims. An impressive resume, an impressive title to boast, and so I'm sure Jeff Trundy's happy.
Basically what you're saying is play for the Falmouth Commodores,
yes.
Win a College World Series.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. Got it. No, yeah, impressive, absolutely. 3 Commodores on the College World Series winning team. I mean, that's got to be up there with the most players on Oregon State. You know, the most Commodores, most team with the most guys on Oregon State, I should say. This one fouled off towards the right side, and in foul territory, Zach Bierman makes the grab. The second foul out to Bierman by Davis Sims.
Were you able to watch any of the game last night?
I did catch some of the game. It was a much more boring game than the previous night.
What I will say, though, is Kevin Abel was ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, he
allowed
threw,
only 2 hits.
I think he threw 130 pitches.
Strike number 1 on the outside corner to Stowers.
A complete game from a freshman.
Right.
Oregon State has an outstanding bullpen, and he retired the last 20 in a row.
Yeah.
That's banana land. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
I mean, I got to credit some of that. Arkansas, I think, just came into that game and had no will after throwing away the sweep. After throwing away the 3-game sweep the night before, you know, being up, 2 runs, 1 run, and then the dropped pop out that would have ended the game. Down to their final out was Oregon State. Down to their final strike, this one in the dirt, and Stowers watches it go by. And then it's dropped, tie game, then base hit, then home run.
Right.
Just I think everything falling apart there, and Arkansas had no will, had no fight left in them coming back.
That dropped ball in foul territory, it was the second baseman, first baseman, and right fielder who all just couldn't get there. Miscommunication, ball just dropped right in between all 3 of them. It was one of those plays that, like, when it happens, you're like, uh-oh.
Right.
Right, like this could be the one.
The narrative was set against them once that happened. Stowers belts another one into deep right field. Robertson this time has room and throws his glove up right above his head, making the grab at the last second before it fell. So Robertson kind of misplaying it once again, but he does make the grab. Kyle Stowers now 1 for 2, and both of those hits have gone deep into right field.
Hard hit balls into right, no question about it. Nice play by Robertson.
First pitch to Maverick Hanley is outside 1-0. The 1-0 to Hanley. On the outside corner, strike number 1, and you're right. Last night was a pretty spectacular game for Oregon State, allowing only 2 hits, winning 5-0 in shutout fashion. Now 2-1 to Maverick Hanley, and as we were talking about that, we missed the pitching change for the Cotuit Kettleers. The man who was supposed to start today, Luke Chevalier, is towing the rubber for Cotuit right now. And Maverick Hanley breaks his bat. One of the shards heading over towards third base where Eric Jones fielded it. He gets the throw on to first to retire Hanley. So Eric Jones avoiding a splintered bat and making the play for out number 3. And Chevalier out of Northern State University retires the side 1-2-3. We head into the top of inning number 5. Cotuit 4, Falmouth 1.
Join us on Friday, July 13th for Halloween night here at Gov Fuller Field. Our interns will be wearing costumes. You and your family can too. We'll be throwing out candy and lots of other prizes.
Zachary Bierman leads things off for the Kettleers. It'll be Bierman, Jones, and Robertson, 2, 3, and 4, to face off against A.J. Block coming out for his second inning of work. He has allowed 1 run. That was off of a safety squeeze, and this one is hit into right field but foul, and that will fall into the bleachers.
Hard hit by Bierman, just under it and way out in front of it. Bierman had the second single of that third inning, which scored Zach Humphreys.
The lefty Block delivers a pitch way outside to the lefty Bierman, now 1-1. Zachary Bierman, originally from West Bend, Wisconsin. So your western counterpart out in South Bend.
Yeah.
The 1-1 to Bierman. Curveball doesn't break. Hanley can't quite squeeze it. Now 2-1.
I wonder if West Bend is in the western part of the state, because I was so thrown off by South Bend for the longest time, because South Bend is actually northern Indiana.
Right.
Which is backwards.
Yeah, totally backwards nomenclature. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Fielding it is Edward Julian in front of Hayden Cantrell, and they get the out over at first. A little bit of miscommunication. Julian looked like he had it lined up. Cantrell came at the last moment. Not quite sure if he called for it, but Julian made the play anyway. There was a slight moment of hesitation there where it looked like they were going to collide, but Cantrell backed off, and it's a 4-3 putout for out number 1.
Yeah, really nice play. It's one of those ground balls that can be an infield single, and Hayden Cantrell ran right into him, but Julian was able to make a big throw over to first, get him in time.
First pitch is fouled by Eric Jones. There's also a softly hit chopper, and Julian didn't decide to charge it. So he had to make a big throw over there. Just how long he waited, and then the slight bump with Hayden Cantrell slowing things down even more.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt, because some of those plays, you don't know as an infielder if it's smarter to wait on it,
right,
if you have time to wait on it, or come in and charge it. Because sometimes when you charge it, you'll see guys overrun it, not get their glove down.
It makes a bad hop, something like that.
Exactly.
The 1-1 runs upstairs, now 2-1, and Julian, credit him also with knowing his skills enough, knowing himself, that he knows he has the arm strength to deliver a strike onto first base and get the out. Jones now ahead of Block, 2-1. He swings through this one, now 2-2.
Eric Jones 0 for 2 on the night. Grounded out in the first, struck out looking in the third. He batted .333 last year at Davidson.
Swings and misses at that breaking ball, so he is down on strikes for the second straight at bat. And A.J. Block, after a shaky fourth inning, gets 2 quick outs to start off inning number 5. He'll now have to face off against the cleanup hitter, Will Robertson.
A.J. Block going for his first 1-2-3 inning of the summer. As you said, he walked Goldfarb in that fourth inning. Double by Oviedo. That wacky bunt by Humphreys that scored the run.
First pitch ball falls below the knees to Robertson out of Creighton. The 1-0, grounded foul. Creighton is in Kansas, right? Am I right on saying that? Nebraska. Nebraska is what I'm being told. So I've had that wrong for years now. Creighton
I had no clue.
Creighton not as well known for their baseball, but for their basketball, making it to a couple Sweet
Dougie
16s.
McDermott.
Doug McDermott.
One of my favorites.
Originally drafted by the Chicago Bulls after his years with Creighton, leading them to a couple Sweet 16s. This one bounced over to the right side. Edward Julian fields it and gets the put out. So 2 groundouts, to Edward Julian at second, sandwiched around a strikeout against Eric Jones, and it's a 1-2-3 inning worked by A.J. Block. Falmouth down 3. It's 4-1 Cotuit heading into the bottom of inning number 5. back to beautiful Falmouth, Massachusetts. We enter the bottom of inning number 5. The hometown Commodores down a couple. They're down 3, looking to fight back here in inning number 5. Edward Julian will kick things off, and he swings first pitch, flares one towards the left side. It falls foul just past the running Eric Jones.
That's the thing with Falmouth. I feel like they're not getting too many breaks tonight. That one very close to landing right on the line in fair territory. There was the hard hit ball over to first base that ended the 3rd inning off the bat of Stephen Williams.
Yeah, not many of those softly hit liners that have fallen in for base hits. They have only 1 run. It was thanks to a Kyle Stauer solo shot. The 0-2 to Julian in the dirt, ball 1.
Nice block by Humphreys. It did get by him. And a little more on Luke Chevalier. He's from Northern State, a rising senior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Had a 2.52 ERA last season. 13 appearances, 8 starts, 4 complete games, and 3 shutouts.
Guy was a workhorse.
Absolutely.
The 1-2 swung on and missed, and Edward Julian goes down on 4 pitches. Now Cameron Cannon, the 8-hitter, will come up to the plate. Nobody on and 1 out.
The one bright spot for Falmouth so far, at least at the plate, is that they're not striking out as much. Only 3 strikeouts through 4 1/3. It was Cantrell, Hanley, and Julian. We saw those strikeout numbers climb during the 6-game losing streak. And even in the 4-2 win against Chatham, they had double-digit strikeouts.
First pitch right down Broadway to Cameron Cannon.
We saw Cannon swing at the first pitch in his last at-bat. Hard hit to left field, but fielded by Goldfarb.
This one popped up on the infield. And making the play is the shortstop, Adam Oviedo. He calls everybody off and grabs it on the dirt. So a pop out against Cameron Cannon. He's now down for the 2nd time. And C.J. Schaefer, who flew out to center back in the 3rd inning, will try to get something going. 2 outs and nobody on.
6 batters in a row retired by the Cotuit pitching staff.
First pitch to Schaefer at the knees, strike number 1.
And out of those 6 batters who've been retired, 4 flyouts. We've seen a lot of flyouts here today. A total of 8.
Schaefer watches another one at the knees, 0-2. 2 pretty good pitches that CJ decided to lay off. Thought he was going to get the call. But as we said, Jim Fonseca with a pretty wide strike zone when it comes to the corners. The 0-2 on the inside corner, strike 3. C.J. Schaefer watches 3 pitches in identical locations all go by for strikes, and it's a 1-2-3 inning dealt by Luke Chevalier. We head to the top of inning number 6. Falmouth still down 4-1.
What's donated here stays here. All blood that is donated to Cape Cod Healthcare stays on Cape Cod to help the lives of your friends, family, and neighbors. Learn more about donating blood, platelets, or hosting a blood drive at capecodhealth.org/blood center. Cape Cod Healthcare, a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League and the Falmouth Commodores.
We were so excited to call this pitching change. It's Declan Cronin out of Holy Cross, who delivers a first pitch below the knees, ball number 1.
Peyton Burdick up to bat. He's flown out twice.
Second pitch to Burdick is fouled away, 1-1.
Cronin is a temporary player for the Commodores. During his junior year, he had a 4.26 ERA, a 3-5 record. Started all of his 11 appearances and pitched 61 and a third innings, 62 strikeouts on the year, so just over a strikeout an inning.
This one lined over to the first base side. Davis Sims with a little bit of a late jump. Couldn't reel it in. It's fielded cleanly by Stephen Williams, and he fires one into Hayden Cantrell at second, making sure that Burdick does not take 2. But Peyton Burdick leads things off in the 6th inning with a hard-struck base hit to the right side.
Hard piece of contact. We've seen some singles and base hits for the Cavaliers that have just found holes. But that one was a single through and through. Would have been an outstanding play for Sims. He was already shaded a little bit to his right.
Breaking ball falls outside to Mike Salvatore, 1-0.
And first hit of the day for Peyton Burdick.
The 1-0 to the Florida State Seminole. Fastball, a little below the knees. Maverick Hanley threatens to throw over to first, and diving back in is Burdick. It's now 2-0 to Salvatore. Declan Cronin, only with 3 innings pitched on the year, hasn't gotten too many chances for the Commodores, but he has not allowed a run quite yet. He's been pretty lights out from the bullpen.
And this is going to be a big test for him because Cotuit is such a good hitting team.
This one a bloop shot into right field, and that one will fall fair. Stephen Williams coming on. He will field it as it dies along the first base line. He throws it into third base and throws it away. Threw it into the Cotuit bullpen. So taking third base, and now home plate is Peyton Burdick on the throwing error. And that will be a run scored for Cotuit, the 5th run of the game. Advancing to second was Salvatore. He now steps in and takes third base on the throwing error. So back-to-back singles and a run scored and a man on third. Nobody out here in inning number 6.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Why does he get third on the throwing error?
He was running into second.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. He was. He for sure. I saw it.
Okay, all right.
Don't worry.
All right.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was about to call it.
It seemed like he was hesitating between first and second, but then probably was making his way to second on the throw.
Once the throw came in, he was about halfway down, and then they give him that. And then ball number 1 outside to Declan Cronin. I was about to call it. I was like, man, I've got everything going on. I see the throw
just
coming
came in and ruined it.
I see the guy running to second, and then the throw had to get away, and I couldn't get my observations in. Infield comes in with nobody out and a runner on third. Breaking ball hits the outside corner, now 1-1. Cotuit now extends their lead to 5-1. They have 5 runs on 7 hits. Commodores with 1 run on 2 hits, although that Salvatore bloop shot is one of those that we were talking about Falmouth wasn't getting. Meanwhile, Cotuit does get that one. Barely fell in fair. This one is bounced just past the plate and foul, now 1-2 to Jacob Goldfarb.
A little bit of a rocky start for Declan Cronin. He's let up 2 hits. And Stephen Williams had a long way to go. Just an ill-advised throw. Tried to go for the highlight play with the throw down to third. Just put too much gas underneath it.
Should have just thrown to second. Because even if the throw to third is accurate, taking second would be Salvatore. And then you're not limiting a guy to first base. The double play then gets out of order. Fastball misses upstairs and away to Goldfarb. Count even at 2-2.
Now 7 of the 9 Cavaliers have a hit on the day. 5 runs on 7 hits so far for Cotuit.
The 2-2 grounded back to Julian at second. He looks back the runner at third, Salvatore, and then lobs one over to first base for out number 1. Beautiful ground ball out. Nicely done by Edward Julian, doing everything right, exactly what Declan Cronin needed for out number 1. Now Adam Oviedo, who was 1 for 1 on the day, scored a run on a hit by pitch and then doubled, steps up to the plate with a man on third and only 1 out.
And Oviedo was actually left stranded at third in the 4th inning. It was that 1-6-3 double play off the bat of Tolia that ended inning number 4.
Brent Killam is warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. if Cronin can't get out of this one, as that slider in the dirt couldn't be backhanded by Maverick Hanley. Got away from him, but he does run it down, make sure that Salvatore doesn't try anything. It's 1-0 to Oviedo. Infield is still in. Cronin pitching from the stretch against the right-handed shortstop. He kicks and delivers. Breaking ball at the knees, strike number 1.
Oviedo coming into the day, only batting .184. But he scored 2 runs back against Yarmouth Dennis.
Shows bunt, ball runs outside, now 2-1. Hanley looked back Salvatore at third base, took a sizable secondary lead. As Cameron Cannon not holding on Michael Salvatore over at third, and he's still not taking much of a lead, getting a lot of range on the secondary lead, but his primary lead just a couple steps off the bag despite not being held on. 2-1 from Cronin, in the dirt once again. This one is a beautiful backhanded pick by Maverick Hanley. It's 3-1.
Keep an eye on Hanley. He's made a pickoff over at third before. One of the best defensive plays we've seen all year. He communicates well with his infielders.
3-1 from Cronin. Runs outside. He could not locate that slider at all. Throws 3 of them for balls outside and in the dirt. And he gives a free pass to Adam Oviedo. Put runners on the corners and 1 out for Zach Humphreys, as Maverick Hanley is going to talk to his pitcher and try to settle him down.
Important at-bat coming up for Humphreys. Maybe even more important for Cronin. Runners on the corners can be tough for defenses. Humphreys also singled his last time up back in the 4th inning. And he scored the 2nd run of the game for Cotuit in the 3rd. Bottom of the order has been producing today for the Kettleers. 2 hits and 3 runs from the bottom 3rd.
Kettleers are a team that spread out their hits. It's not just one guy with a 500 average. They've got plenty of guys with high 200s. This one bunted up the first base line. Davis Sims makes the play, has to slap the tag on Humphreys over at first base. Once again, Cotuit puts together a magnificent safety squeeze, as coming into score is Salvatore, and 2 great bunts off the bat of these Kettleers. They couldn't have executed it more perfectly.
2 safety squeezes, one of them for a hit. Here Davis Sims makes the play, but it does score a run. Now a comfortable lead for Cotuit. They're up 6-1. Maverick Hanley's going to come back out to talk to Cronin, and Mike Landry's going to go to the bullpen. It's going to be Brent Killam for Tolia.
Brent Killam, the lefty, will come in to face the righty Tolia. So they're opting out of the righty-righty matchup. They're going to go for the righty-lefty matchup. Cronin allowing 1 run, as one of those was unearned thanks to the error from Stephen Williams. But I'm stunned that not only Cotuit going for these risky bunts, runner on third, safety squeezes twice now, but executing them perfectly. They must practice this during BP and on off days all the time. Just seeing how beautifully that one was put down by a catcher in Humphreys, nicely up the first base line, far away, that Mike Salvatore had an easy way to go for it. He had an easy 90 feet to run. And then Humphreys also pulled it off back in inning number 4 when he poked it up the first base line, but far enough away from Sims and far enough away from A.J. Block that, neither of them had any shot at even getting him when he took first base on that.
Clearly, great job coaching by Mike Roberts, who's now in his 15th season. He's won 2 championships with the Kettleers, once in 2010, once in 2013. Also had the best regular season record in the Cape League back in 2012. The Kettleers went 30-14. An impressive record back 6 summers ago. Mike Roberts was also the head coach at UNC for 21 seasons, 78-98. 9 NCAA postseason appearances, 2 College World Series appearances. So he knows how to coach And he knows how to manage a game, no doubt about it. Not afraid to play small ball, and clearly his guys hit well. 6 runs on 7 hits in the 6th inning so far for Cotuit.
And Brent Killam, who will try to get this final out of inning number 6 warming up. The Commodores hitters will have their work cut out for them. This is a team who has not put up more than 5 hits over the last 2 games, just had 3 against Chatham and then 2, I believe, a couple nights ago against Orleans. Now with only 2 tonight, they're going to have to break into their bats and try to wake them up again like last Sunday against Brewster if they want to even bring themselves back into this game. A couple struggles from Mitchell Stone in inning number 3. He let up 3 singles en route to allowing 3 runs. A.J. Block allowed a run, and now Declan Cronin allowing 2 runs, one of them unearned, putting the Commodores in a 5-run hole after jumping out to that 1-0 lead.
Brent Killam's 3rd appearance coming up. He came in a really close game on Father's Day. Harwich had a 2-1 lead when Killam came out, but then they notched up 3 more runs off of the lefty. And he came in late in that game. I believe it was in the top of the 9th inning. Strike number 1 to Tolia. And then he came in sort of a middle relief spot against Hyannis. Pitched an inning and a third. Gave up 1 earned run, 1 hit. Had 2 strikeouts. Now coming in another middle relief spot here.
He's yet to find his groove for the Commodores after such a strong season with the Georgetown Hoyas. Was going to be one of the best relievers out of the pen, potentially the closer. But now he's hit his struggles.
Yeah, I kind of compare him to Will Brennan because they have great college stats. They had great summer league stats last year, but still trying to get into the groove of the Cape League. Obviously a much more competitive league from the Big East to the Cape League. Same thing for Brennan from the Big 12 to the Cape League.
He delivers a fastball strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch, but Hanley's still going to come out and talk to him, try to get on the same page. It's 1-2 to Tolia, so they have a chance to get out of this inning with no more than 2 runs allowed. A.J. Block in his 2 innings of work allowed 2 hits and only 1 run while dealing a 1-2-3 5th inning. He also recorded a strikeout and let up a walk as well. He was replaced by Cronin, who's now replaced by Killam, and Killam delivers a fastball that swung on and missed by Michael Tolia. Brent Killam comes on, faces 1 batter, and gets the K. The Cotuit Kettleers score 2, however, in inning number 6, extending their lead to 6-1. Falmouth coming up to bat in the bottom of inning number 6 with their work cut out for them. Back here in Falmouth, Will Brennan in the top of the order leading things off for the Commodores. Brennan watches ball number 1 fall outside. It's now 6-1 in favor of the Cotuit Kettleers. And it'll be Brennan, Cantrell, and Williams trying to get anything started for this Commodore offense that has been shut down pretty consistently. In the 4th and 5th, they were retired in order. Now trying to do anything here in the 6th. It's 1-1 to Brennan. And he watches ball number 2 go by. Ball number 3 from Chevalier, who is still on the mound. Worked a really smooth 5th inning in which he recorded a strikeout against Edward Julian, a pop out to Cameron Cannon, and then a strikeout against C.J. Schaefer. He throws a strike right down Broadway on 3-1 to Will Brennan. Count now runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm looking for Falmouth to respond here after giving up 2 more runs in the 6th inning. Will Brennan will take his base, but perhaps I've been a little bit tough on Falmouth, but I will say in their 4-game win streak, they played Brewster twice. Brewster's at 3-12-1, so one of the weaker teams in the league. The Chatham game, they won 4-2. Chatham also made 3 errors in the field, 2 of them in the 9th inning. Falmouth scored 2 unearned runs in the 9th inning. They got out-hit 9-3, so maybe stole one game on the road. And then Orleans, another team that's struggling. They had 19 strikeouts the day before they came to Falmouth. Falmouth won 1-0. So I looked at this game as really a huge test for Falmouth. Cotuit, 3rd place in the West, a team that hits the ball really well, and a chance for Falmouth to really prove themselves, I think, even more than they already had in the 4-game win streak.
I think it's fair to say that Falmouth, despite winning 4 games in a row, not playing their best baseball, and I think they would say that as well, as strike number 1 is fired in on the outside corner. I think they would say that as well. The pitching was still mostly what was holding them up, and I mean they were playing smart baseball by capitalizing on the errors, committing less errors than the other team. So both of those things mixed together, along with the timely hitting and the timely base running, really helped them out, and that's all well and good. But you're right, they're not completely out of this hitting hold quite yet, as it's swung on and missed by Hayden Cantrell. 2-2 to the shortstop. Because
against Brewster, they look great offensively.
Right.
19 hits over 2 games and another 12 runs over those 2 games. But then against Chatham, they only had 3 hits. Against Orleans, they only had 2 hits. Those are not the offensive numbers that Falmouth wants. There's no doubt about that.
No, and I think the lineup knows that they're not doing their part. They know that the pitching has been what has brought the Commodores back into the mix here in the Western Division. And it's fair to say that this game against Cotuit is a good test because they face some struggling teams. This one grounded up the first base line, but foul. A timely foul ball call by Tom Reiber over at first base, and Cantrell lives to see another day.
And this is a great opportunity here in the 6th inning. Runner on first, no outs. Hayden Cantrell at the plate, and the meat of the order coming up.
Williams, Sims, and Stowers behind him. They are collectively 1 for 6, but that one hit did yield a run. It was the home run by Stowers. And Williams has been hitting the ball pretty hard. This one cracked up the first base line once again, but similar spot, a foul ball. That one harder hit, so it got by Bierman, but Cantrell just needed to even it out a little bit more, and he would have had an easy double.
Yeah, that one right up the line. Couple foul balls from Cantrell. Just couldn't straighten it out, but he's staying alive in this at-bat. Now the 7th pitch coming from Chevalier.
Chevalier has not thrown a lot of balls. 22 strikes to 13 balls. This one is a ball, and it actually hits Hayden Cantrell on the leg. Looked like that back leg, his left leg, maybe on the foot where it got him. He'll take his base, and heading over to second is Will Brennan, as now Weinstein will come out and talk to Chevalier. They may head into
the empty bullpen.
The empty bullpen. I was just about to say there's nobody in the bullpen, but this is the second meeting. Oh,
right.
The first one was with Jarvis, my mistake. So they don't have to go to the bullpen just yet, as there's been a meeting with Jarvis and now Chevalier. Stephen Williams has runners on first and second and nobody out here in a 5-run game. So the Commodores, if they can chip away here, they still have a couple of innings to try to chip away a little more and tie this one up potentially, but they need to get going now. Perfect opportunity, 2 men on, nobody out.
Perfect opportunity, no doubt about it. Right when we were talking about the offensive struggles, this is the place to strike. Down 5, 6th inning, runners on first and second, nobody out, 3, 4, and 5 due up. There's a big couple at-bats for Falmouth.
Like we said, not a lot of hits the last couple of days. Just 1 or 2 hits right here will yield a couple of runs, excuse me, as Chevalier looks Brennan back into second. They've got the right guy up, Stephen Williams. He came into today batting .304. One of the few Commodores, maybe the only one batting above 300. He swings first pitch at a fastball and misses it. Now 0-1.
Stephen Williams was one of 3 Commodores with a hit against Chatham. It was Davidson, Williams, and of course Maverick Hanley with the 2-run home run that won Falmouth the game.
He lines this one right to the second baseman Salvatore. It's going to be an easy 4-6-3 double play. Cantrell out at second, Williams out at first. Advancing over to third is Will Brennan, but just like that, the Commodores threatening, and now not so much.
Not what they were looking for, no doubt about it. Now 2 outs and a runner on third. Still the big boy, the cleanup hitter, Davis Sims, coming up to bat, but not what they were looking for with 2 runners on and no outs.
Just needed 1 timely hit. They haven't gotten a lot of it. They did get it against Chatham. They got it a couple nights ago against Orleans. A big hack is taken by Sims. He comes up empty. It's 0-1. But for the most part, the last 10 games haven't been getting that timely hitting that would really put a team back in the game right now or blow a game open. The 0-1 from Chevalier runs too far inside, and it does hit Davis Sims. That one skimming his forearm. He'll take his free pass. And Kyle Stowers, the lefty, now has runners on the corners and 2 out.
2 Commodores hit by a pitch, Cantrell and Davis Sims. Now Will Brennan at third, Sims at first, and Kyle Stowers coming up to bat. His 2 at-bats have been great today. He lifted a solo shot in the second inning, the only run of the game for the Commodores, and then had a hard hit ball to deep right, a great play by Robertson.
He swings first pitch but fouls it right back into the dirt. It's 0-1 to the Stanford left fielder. Maverick Hanley, his Stanford teammate, the catcher, awaits on deck. He's hoping to get up to bat in this inning. 0-1. Misses somewhere, maybe a little bit outside, and Stowers now facing a 1-1 count. Sims on first, Brennan on third. Stowers at the dish. He watches ball number 2 just miss off the outside corner. That outside corner that was consistently called a strike by Jim Fonseca earlier in this one, now all of a sudden has evaporated for the pitchers. Chevalier steps off.
Trying to buy himself some time. Kyle Stowers knows it's a big at-bat for the Commodores. Trying to take advantage of the runners on base.
The 2-1 swung on, grounded over to the right side. Salvatore can't field the play on his forehand, and Kyle Stowers will take first base. Advancing to third is Davis Sims. It'll be runners on the corners with 2 outs once again. This time a run coming in, and Maverick Hanley will be the man at the dish.
Find a way. That's been the mantra for the Falmouth Commodores. They found a way against Chatham with only 3 hits. They won 4-2. They found a way against the Firebirds after scoring only 1 run thanks to some outstanding pitching. Now trying to scrounge together some runs against the Cavaliers.
It's an E4 against Mike Salvatore as the ball just skipped up against him on his forehand and he couldn't field the hop. Maverick Hanley swings first pitch, hard line drive over to short. It skips up and over the shortstop Oviedo. That tough lip here at Gov Fuller Field giving Oviedo some trouble. And Maverick Hanley with some nifty base running, showing off the wheels, is the catcher. He dives headfirst into second base. And Maverick Hanley gets an RBI single on that one. It is ruled a hit as it just skipped up and over Oviedo's head. So an RBI single for Maverick Hanley brings home Davis Sims. And now there's runners on second and third. Falmouth now down 3. Edward Julian at the dish.
So after grounding into a double play with runners on first and second and no outs, Falmouth puts together 2 runs. Nice piece of contact from Hanley. And I wasn't sure when he rounded first because Hanley not known for his speed, but he dove head first into second. Now 2 runners in scoring position.
First pitch strike on the outside corner to Julian. And a couple hard hit balls as well. It seemed like it was going to be more of the same after Stephen Williams grounded into his double play. But a hard hit ball from Stowers that was an error. And then Maverick Hanley really got a hold of that one, which is why Oviedo couldn't field it cleanly. They couldn't find the gaps, but they did it with their strength instead. Now 1-1 to Julian, who is 1 for 15 on the season entering today. He's now 1 for 17. He's a guy that when his bat wakes up, boy, does it do some damage.
Yeah, he had a huge double against Brewster in Game 2.
He lines this one into center field. Ranging back is Peyton Burdick. Back at the wall, and that one will one-hop the wall, and it lands for a double. Edward Julian trots into second base safely, and he has a 2 RBI double. Coming in to score are Stowers and Handley. It's now a 1-run ball game. Falmouth putting together a heck of a 2-out rally here, now 6-5.
Ranging back was Burdick, but he couldn't get there. And Falmouth finding a way here in the bottom of the 6th. They put up a 4 spot and counting. And a couple big doubles from Hanley and Julian. Now another runner in scoring position. The tying run over at second base with Cameron Cannon coming up. And is he due for a hit?
Cameron Cannon, who jumped out to a hot start in first 2 games of the season and has significantly cooled off since then. He puts together a 3/4 swing on that slider and comes up empty 0-1. Edward Julian with another one of those. Gets under it, gets a hold of it though, just kept carrying and carrying and carrying, and Peyton Burdick not playing far back enough as that one hops the center field wall. So Julian with his second hit, it's another double, and Cannon lines this one into the left center gap. That one will fall for a base hit. Julian rounds third. He will come in to score. It's an RBI single for Cameron Cannon, and the Falmouth Commodores put up 5 in inning number 6 and tie this ball game at 6.
Wow. This is one of the best half innings we've seen all year from the Falmouth Bats. They put up 5 against Yarmouth Dennis in one inning. They put up 6 against Hyannis. But this one arguably the most impressive because they're coming from behind. Down 6-1 coming into the bottom of the 5th. It will be a pitching change. That's going to do it for Chevalier. And 3 hits in a row. Double from Hanley, double from Julian, single from Cannon. And then the hustle has been huge as well because Hanley, if he stays on first, he's not scoring on the Julian double. And Julian coming around to score on the Cannon single. Everything going Falmouth's way here in inning number 6.
Like you said, a surprise because the Bats have been quiet despite this 4-game winning streak. So the Bats waking up with 2 outs as well and coming back, from a 5-run deficit. We have not seen the Commodores come back really at all except for against Chatham in the 9th and way back on opening day against Hyannis, but that was so early in the game it didn't even feel like a comeback. They really only have 1 late game comeback. Now they have 2, putting up 5 here in inning number 6. Chevalier's day is done, as you said, and it'll be Ryan left. 6, and what looked like a washout of a game might turn out to be one of the better games for the Commodores, especially offensively. We head into the top of inning number 7. Brand new ball game, tied up at 6.
Congratulations to head coach Jeff Trundy on his 20th season at the helm in Falmouth. He was the captain of the University of New Hampshire baseball team, inducted to the Maine Baseball Hall of Fame back in 2013, two-time Coach of the Year in the Cape League, and coming off of back-to-back Western Division crowns. Congratulations, Coach, and we hope to see you for many more years.
Back here in Falmouth, a brand new ball game where the Commodores have now tied it 6-6. Brent Killam coming on for his first full inning of work. He got the final out back in inning number 6. He has to face Zach Bierman, delivers a ball upstairs. He's got Bierman, Jones, and Robertson, 2, 3, and 4 for the Kettleers, trying to keep them at bay and hope the offense stays pumping for the Commodores. Fires a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
This is one of those times you want to get back into the dugout as quick as possible and let this momentum continue.
The dugout was bumping that last half inning. A beautiful curveball sits a little too high and inside. Killam doesn't get the call. It's 2-1, but that dugout was really feeling it. They were getting loud for their boys who were putting together a crazy 2-out rally, just hit after hit after hit. And now Killam looking to keep things the way they are. He fires a strike for strike number 2. Count even at 2-2 to Bierman.
And a great job for Falmouth and the Bats. Waking up in the bottom of the 6th. Now 6 runs on 5 hits.
The 2-2, strike 3 on the outside corner. Bierman kept the bat on his shoulders. Beautiful breaking ball from Brent Killam for out number 1.
Brent Killam has faced 2 batters, and he struck them both out. Struck out Tolia swinging and Bierman looking.
Eric Jones, the 3-hitter and third baseman, who he himself has struck out twice. Once against Mitchell Stone, once against A.J. Block. Now facing another lefty in Killam. This one popped up towards the right side. Stephen Williams barely has to move a muscle as he reels that one in out in right field. So one pitch to Eric Jones yields an out, and Will Robertson will step up to the dish. 2 outs and nobody on base.
Robertson 1 for 2 on the day. He singled back in the 3rd, reached on a walk in the 2nd, but was then caught stealing, and then grounded out to second base in the 5th.
Now, I just noticed on our graphic on the broadcast, it says Jonathan Robertson. And that's not because Eliza's wrong. Eliza is never wrong.
Never.
If ever. She's just no. But he is listed as Jonathan Robertson in the Cape League.
Right.
As that is his first name. He goes by his middle name, Will. He cracks this one into center field, but Will Brennan, just ahead of the warning track, makes the grab over his shoulder. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Brent Killam. He has seen 4 batters and retired all 4. And your wish has been granted. A very quick top of inning number 7 brings the Commodores back up to the plate and keeps that momentum going. We will head into the bottom of inning number 7, still tied up at 6 here in Falmouth. Bottom of the 7th inning we go. Will Brennan, the leadoff man, will step up to the dish. He led off the bottom of inning number 6 with a walk. Later came around to score. He was the first man to score in that 2-out rally as he watches strike number 1 go by. And working quickly is Ryan Leffner. He fires one that is fouled away by Will Brennan. The Commodores batted all 9 in inning number 6, plated 5. It's the second highest run production inning they have on the season. Brennan lifts this one into center field with plenty of space and time is Peyton Burdick, and he retires Brennan for out number 1.
And all 5 of those runs for the Commodores were unearned right in the bottom of inning number 6. There was the error by the second baseman Salvatore, which would have been the 3rd out. So every run scored after that is by no fault of the pitcher.
Hayden Cantrell swings and misses at the first pitch he sees from Ryan Leffner. Leffner came on to face C.J. Schaefer. He got a ground out to third base to end the 6th inning. That seemed to just go on forever for the Kettleers. Every single run was scored with 2 outs as another strike comes in across the belt to Cantrell.
This is a good start from Leffner. Quick fly out to Will Brennan, 2 quick strikes to Hayden Cantrell, who usually doesn't bat from behind in the count.
And he swings and misses at that one. He goes down on 3 pitches. It's a swinging strikeout against Cantrell. The first strikeout administered by Leffner, and Steven Williams will step up to the plate. 2 outs, nobody on.
Williams is 0 for 3 on the day. He grounded into that double play in the 6th.
He swings first pitch he sees, fouls it to the left side. Man, just imagine if Williams didn't ground it.
And I was gonna say too, that double play at the time, it was like, oh man.
Right, it was a killer.
Runners on first and second, nobody out. Now 2 outs and a runner on third, but they still played across 5 runs.
Williams watches a breaking ball go by for strike number 2. Leffner throwing a lot of strikes. This guy does not throw a lot of balls anyway. He has 45 strikeouts and only 8 walks on his 2018 spring campaign, and he delivers another strike. It's a swing and a miss by Williams. He's now thrown 10 strikes to 0 balls out of the bullpen for Cotuit tonight. Absolutely immaculate from Ryan Leffner, and he puts down Cantrell and Williams both swinging. So a 1-2-3 inning after the big inning number 6 for the Commodores, and now Brent Killam back out on the mound for the top of inning number 8. Back here in Falmouth, Brent Killam delivers a first pitch ball to Peyton Burdick, the center fielder for the Cotuit Kettleers.
And we have a previous Commodore in the booth with us. It is Kevin Mooney from 2013 and 2014. I'm David Korzanowski. Nice to meet you. We didn't get to do intros before.
Right. Daniel Rose. Good
Danny?
to meet you. Yep.
All right.
So what's it like being back in Falmouth? What are you up to now?
Oh, it's awesome. I'm here visiting actually my host family.
Okay.
So I was here in 2013 and 2014, and I stayed with the same host family.
Nice.
And I come back to visit them. I've seen them every year since I've played, and I've been up here. This is actually the second time I've been back since 2014, my second year, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and it's awesome to see the improvements and everything they've made to the stadium, the press box here, and all the fans and everything. It's like I'm playing again.
Killam delivers a third ball upstairs to Burdick. It's now 3-1. So 2013, you played, of course, with Rhys Hoskins.
I did, yeah. Rhys, he's doing big things now with the Phillies. He's making a pretty big name for himself. That was an especially fun team. We had a lot of fun that year. We had the really good offense. We had a bunch of guys that were all-stars. We led the league in hitting by far that year. And even 2014, those guys, a lot of fun too. We had a little bit better pitching staff in 2014. And we had Kevin Newman also. I think he had the batting title back-to-back years. As a freshman and a sophomore. Now he's doing big things in the Pirates organization. So a lot of guys from when I was here that are really, really doing big things. It's
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Brett Killam gets a big swinging strikeout against Peyton Burdick for out number 1, and Mike Salvatore, the second baseman, will step up to the dish. 1 out and nobody on.
So I am curious. You mentioned the developments that have been made. I have not seen Gov Fuller Field before, so just paint a picture for us what the press box was like, where the guys were broadcasting, and any other developments that have been made.
Okay, so there was no scoreboard.
Really?
So the scoreboard is new.
Okay.
And it's I think it's probably the thing that kind of pulls everything together and really makes it kind of a cohesive field, and it really, to me, it makes it stand out as one of the best fields in the Cape. It just brings it all together. This press box is amazing. I was just talking to Eric Zamuda about all the generous donations that were made and everything that made this possible. They got the deck out there. They moved it back from the backstop, so there's an actual spot for the scouts to sit and bleachers and everything. And even up here, they got, you guys got these nice sliding windows and a finished ceiling and floors.
I don't think we even know how nice we have it made until we talk to you.
You really don't. I mean, you have these nice ergonomic chairs that are good for your posture.
Great.
We were sitting in I did the same thing these guys do. Came up here every time I had an off day. I was always asking, hey, can I come up? Can I come up? And they eventually let me, and I would come up probably maybe once a week, once every other week. But it really was basically just a shed that was just 2 floors. There was a little skinny set of wooden steps on the inside.
Just sounds like some of our unnamed competitors.
Right.
They still have press boxes like that.
But it was just a plywood table here with just some bar stools and everything, and now you guys have this nice finished counter with the platform back there, and these awesome headphones.
I'm never going to look at this press box
switchboard and everything. No, you really won't. And I've even heard in the future for next year they're planning some backstop improvements in the dugouts and everything, which that really it'll really be just the premier field to play at. I mean, for me it's already the best field. And the playing surface looks like they really did a good job on it this year. It looks really level. The mound looks great.
Players work hard on it as well.
Yeah. Actually, I was on the field, the grounds crew when I was here. We did the chalk lines for the plate and down the lines and everything in the mound.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, it really just looks amazing.
That's great. Yeah, a single from Salvatore.
Another Texas leaguer from Salvatore.
Yeah, that one just snuck in.
Had one in right field, now one in center.
Shallow center.
1-1 to Jacob Goldfarb as the pickoff attempt gets away from Davis Sims, but it will stay near him so he can scoop it up and make sure that Salvatore can't move off at first.
Went off of the quad of Tom Ryberg, and the umpire is in the field of play, so stays at first base.
Yeah, that's a fair play right there.
Salvatore.
What a break.
Right. So a little bit more about you. Where did you play in college, and what are you up to now?
So I played at the University of Maryland for 3 years. I played here between my freshman and sophomore and junior years. And then following my junior year, I was drafted by the Nationals. And I played in their minor league system for 2 years. And then last year in June, I was released. I had a shoulder injury.
Okay.
So I've been away from baseball for about a year now. And it's good to be back here and seeing these guys playing. I was telling a bunch of people, I was down the dugout talking to Coach Trundy and a couple other people down there, and I was saying this is actually the first game that I've been a spectator at, the first Commodores game that I've been. It's weird to sit, not in uniform and actually watch. It's interesting. You get to see it from a totally different perspective, and it's really a lot of fun.
So we've talked to a bunch of the guys how you build relationships when you just meet guys and then you're only playing with them for the summer. Have you built lifelong, I guess not lifelong, but a couple-year-long relationships with guys that you didn't go to school with but that you played with for a whole summer? Still keep in touch?
So I do keep in touch with a few guys, not too many. It's you kind of get that close thing with just a couple guys. And actually, the one guy I lived alone with my host family my first year. My second year, I lived with somebody else. And I've talked to him a few times. I haven't actually seen him, but there's a couple guys, yeah. And it really just comes down to the guys that you just click with the most, and you feel like maybe it's your playing catch partner before the game, that kind of person that you get that kind of special connection with, that you kind of stay in touch with, and you kind of cheer for them as they make their way through the minor leagues and they go on their journey and everything. But I mean, it's the guys I went to school with too. Obviously, stay close with them. Guys I played with here and everything. And actually, it's funny. One of the broadcasters, I don't remember what year it was. It was either my first or second year. I can't remember. His name was David Lauterbach, and he was here, and I became pretty close with him. I was up here talking just like I am now. And when I played with the Nationals, my first summer, I was in Auburn, New York. It's upstate New York. And he was actually the broadcaster. He got hired by the Nationals, and he was up there.
Oh, wow.
So he was actually a guy who I kind of least expected, but I kind of expected to run into more of my
players.
And he was actually the first guy from the Cape League that I ran into. I was like, oh hey, so that was pretty cool to see him.
Yeah.
And kind of have him be there and be able to talk to him about the stats and everything, the video. I think he helped out with some of the video stuff too, so that was really cool. And now he's moved on. He's with a different team now. I think he's doing the same thing, but he was telling me for the broadcasters, it's actually really similar to the way the players do. They kind of maybe go from team to team and work through it just like the players do. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Cape League, you got to get recruited for this. We got to apply and work hard to get up here.
Smile for the camera. Anyone watching?
As Brett Killam, who got a big swinging strikeout from Jacob Goldfarb, he was looking to annihilate that baseball, but went down empty. And now he's ahead of Adam Oviedo, 0-2. So runner on second, no balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Killam looking to get out of the inning unscathed. Delivers a fastball, swung on and missed, and Adam Oviedo goes down. So we're out of the inning, and unfortunately, that's all we could talk to you about, but you shared some great stories.
Yeah,
really
great.
loved
Yeah,
it.
man, it was a lot of fun. And, to anybody listening, I hope there's some Doors fans out there. I just want to thank everybody for all your support coming to games, the money you donated, the time you donated, all the host families for everything they do for all these players, all the people behind the scenes who maybe don't get the recognition they should. You guys really make it worth it. It's playing baseball, but it's a lot more than that. It's the total experience for everybody, the players, the broadcast, the intern, the coaches, everything.
Definitely.
It really just makes it worth it for everybody out there. So.
Kevin Mooney, Falmouth Commodore, 2013 and 14. Thanks a lot for your time.
All right, thanks guys.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Us.
All right.
Have a good back into the broadcast booth. We've got a current Falmouth Commodore with us, Scott Politz, who pitched a gem a couple nights ago against Orleans. But first, we will see a ball upstairs to Davis Sims, Ryan Leffner, back out on the bump for the Cotuit Kettleers. And Scott, I know we've talked to you a lot about that outing, but just want to reiterate how impressive that was.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And you said that it was one of your best outings as a Cape League player, and also
definitely
one of the best of the
Cape.
career.
Yeah, definitely best of the Cape, and then probably top 3 to 5, I'd say. I mean, it's hard to gauge because there's always those like high school games that are really like obviously like dreamy and whatnot, but then it's hard to determine which one's like more important in your life, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. they're all important at their own times.
So I'm sure you impressed a lot of scouts.
I hope so. That's
So
the goal, right?
You had a no-hitter through 6 2/3. You hit one batter, I believe, and then 2 reached on errors.
I think that's right. Yeah.
What is this one's chopped over to short? Oviedo throws over to
see ya.
first. High throw off the bag. Sorry, I took your play-by-play for a sec, Danny,
It's
as I
okay.
was
You
talking.
killed it. You killed it.
So Davis Sims in at first with no outs. I think that'll be ruled an infield single. Nope, throwing error. So speaking of errors, 2 runners reached on an error. You hit 1 batter. When you have this no-hitter going, what's your mentality between innings, between batters, trying to stay focused, trying to stay in the zone?
Well, it was actually kind of funny because before the game I told my friend Ian over there, told him that I was going to throw no-hitter kind of as a joke. And he's like, oh, you jinxed it. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But no, I was just, I mean, as the game goes on, obviously you can kind of feel everybody trying to not talk to you and trying to, like, not say anything about it, which is entertaining.
So you don't care if somebody comes over your spot in the dugout? And
no,
Are you superstitious?
No, I'm just a little stitious. No, I just do a lot of wandering in the dugout, and so I don't really have a spot or anything. I always like stay moving.
Gotcha.
I don't want to tighten up and stuff. So
a flare shot into left field that Jacob Goldfarb records for the out, and Kyle Stowers goes down on a fly out. Maverick Hanley will step up to the plate. That's an office joke for everybody
yes,
that Scott Pullitz just delivered us.
I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious.
So Scott, the question I've been dying to ask you: do you remember our names now?
Yes. David and Danny.
Which one's which?
David.
There we go.
Danny.
Little hesitation, but he got the job done.
I appreciate it.
Because there's always a lot. You got to go last name, schools, first names. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, look at that, David and Danny.
So
we don't. You didn't look down because that one's flipped.
That's true.
First pitch to Maverick Hanley in the dirt.
Now I'm gonna rewind, not to Orleans, but to your second to last start against YD. You pitched well. You pitched 5 innings. Give up only 1 run with 2 outs in the first inning. We asked TJ Sikkema this question. Does the lack of run support ever frustrate you? Because we've seen this offense struggle. Getting hits, getting runs. As a pitcher, what's that like?
Well, I'd say it can actually be motivating because if you really go into a game thinking you can't give up more than, 1, 2 runs, then you're going to lose.
It's a similar answer TJ gave.
Yeah, I mean, so with pitchers kind of been joking around saying like, oh, it's all your fault, hitters for losing. But no, I mean, I think it does help us out because we kind of puts the burden on us, and but we're doing a good job, I'd say, as a staff, just limiting runs and whatnot. But yeah, there's definitely, I guess it's more pressure, but it's more incentive to keep the runs down.
A blooper off the bat of Maverick Hanley stays up just long enough for Peyton Burdick to come on in and make the grab. There's now 2 outs. Davis Sims still over at first thanks to that throwing error from Adam Oviedo. And Eddie Julien, who had the big 2-run double back in inning number 6, is up to the plate.
And what's it been like watching this game and the Chatham game? I know you're selling raffle tickets today, but that Chatham game was crazy.
Yeah, well, this one, I was just about kind of finishing up selling tickets today. We were on the fence next to the bullpen when we had the big 2-out rally in was it 6th? Yeah. So I got to see that. That was cool. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to see. It's good. Finally, we haven't had that many, I guess, little streaks like that. So that was good to see. I think I'm sure there's more to come very soon. Hopefully in this game, like right about now.
Eddie Julien swings through 2 fastballs. He's now down 0-2. Scott Pullitz is rooting for him, though.
Oh yeah. This would be a great time for a little base knock, maybe double. He's already done one of those, right?
Yeah. Both of his hits on the year are doubles to deep right center.
The 0-2 to Julien. Upstairs 1-2.
So you mentioned you've been clicking with Ian Cook, obviously Spencer Strider. How's the pitching staff gelling?
Oh, we're great. We were a couple of games deep of password, and that usually gets people close. You figure out how to get your hints right and everything. You get to know each other a little bit. But no, we've had plenty of bus rides now, and hours shagging and whatever else we have. So
the reason we got onto the names thing about us was because last time you were on, we asked you if you knew everybody's name on the team,
right?
And you said you were still learning a couple
position players,
but you've got it all down now,
I
right?
think I do. I still get 37 and 40 confused.
Stowers and Williams.
Yeah. Because if it's all about the hair.
Yeah, you just got to look for the beach blonde
It's
hair.
similar hair, but obviously length is different. But
Right.
I mean, they have a pretty similar bodies. I don't know. That's a tough one.
And they're
for
both
me. And they
lefties,
both
too, yeah.
they're lefties and play outfield. So kind of asking a lot, but we're getting there.
Okay, and you know that you've still got a couple more guys potentially coming as well.
Yeah, but I think I already know them.
Okay.
Langworthy and
Dyson.
Where's he from?
He's from Florida as well.
Anderson, too.
And Jordan Anderson from
Right,
Mississippi
from
State.
Mississippi
Okay, I don't know those two yet. But
Won't take too long, I'm sure.
yeah, I'll get those down. But how about the hour 53 game?
Oh my gosh.
That's
Broadcaster's
what I'm
dream,
talking
as they say.
Yeah, that was so quick.
It's a
Were
quick
you
one.
alarmed at how quickly you were pitching? You kind of just going straight back set and delivering another pitch. I mean,
Yeah,
that was the
I like
quickest I've ever
that.
seen you work.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the good pace. Just keep things moving, keeps a rhythm. I think there's some old adage where you can only remember the motion that your last pitch for like 17 seconds, something
Gotcha.
random like that. So I figure the quicker you can throw the next pitch, the better feel you have the last one, right?
Sure,
he
your
cannot
teammates
see that.
appreciated it.
Oh man.
Fly ball into left field gives Jacob Goldfarb some trouble. Looks like he lost it in the lights and then lost his footing. But Julian does go down to the flyout. 3 flyouts off the bat of Falmouth Commodores in a row. Ryan Leffner gets out of this one, only allowing 1 runner on. We will head to the top of inning number 9. Still knotted up at 6. Scott, how about you head back down to that bullpen, get really loud.
I'm gonna get him going.
Some little league cheers for your teammates.
That's usually what I go after. All the let's get a single, just little single stuff.
Thanks, Scott. Best of
All
luck.
right, appreciate it.
See you soon.
Thanks, Scott.
See you, man.
Back here in Falmouth, Massachusetts, just David and Danny this time. No special guests, unfortunately. But we are in a pretty intense game. Top of the 9th, tied up at 6. Seen a couple of scoreless innings since that big, I believe it was the 6th inning for the Commodores. Yes, the 6th inning, as Brent Killam fires yet another strike on the outside corner to Zach Humphreys. And Killam coming out for his 3rd full inning of work. He has been dominant.
5 strikeouts in just over 2 1/3 innings. Already up 0-2 on Zach Humphreys. And this is the Brent Killam that we read about. This is the Brent Killam who pitched last year in the Northwoods League. Finally coming into his own and really succeeding on the mound.
Like you said, he's got Humphreys down 0-2. Throws a fastball that runs outside. It's 1-2. And additionally, Killam came in a spot where in the 6th inning, it didn't seem like the game was that close. I mean, 6-1. He just needed a strikeout to get the final out. But then coming into a spot in the 7th, 8th, now the 9th, where he's got to be really on his game. One mistake, and it might lose the game for the Commodores. And yet he's still throwing really well, still firing on all cylinders. So a really intense spot for Brent Killam, which he's used to as Georgetown's consistent closer.
So he's faced 8 batters. He's struck out 5. Then forced 2 flyouts and only allowed 1 single off of Michael Salvatore, who reached second on a pass ball.
Barely a single, a Texas leaguer is what they call it. It's the 2-2 to Humphreys. He gets under this one, lifts it into shallow left field. Coming on in is Kyle Stowers, and he makes the grab for out number 1. So another retired batter for Brent Killam, and now he'll have the top of the order, Tolia, and then Bierman.
Danny, we got to keep an eye on left field for the rest of the night. The last 2 outs have been over to left, and it's been trouble for both Goldfarb and Stowers, having a little bit of trouble tracking. I don't know if maybe it's the clouds or the sky on the other side that they're facing into, but it seems to be a little bit tough to track those fly balls to left.
Tolia, the righty, wearing the number 20, watches a ball below his knees. Ball number 1. Tolia has gotten up 4 times, now 5. He struck out twice, had an RBI single in the 3rd inning and grounded into an inning-ending double play in the 4th. Now with nobody on and 1 out, he watches a strike at the knees. It's 1-1 to the UCLA Bruin.
Killam's thrown 36 pitches, a perfect 2-to-1 strike-to-ball ratio, 24 strikes, 12 balls.
He's been painting corners like it's nobody's business, and he paints another one right there. Gets the call on the outside corner by Jim Fonseca, the home plate umpire, and now he's got Tolia down 1-2. He came into this one sporting a 15.45 ERA, but now has assuredly brought that down thus far. He still needs 2 more outs to get. Did that? Okay,
yes.
So foul ball back in up to the screen.
The top of the screen.
It hit the top
that
of the
you
screen.
said was useless in the second.
I didn't say it was useless.
Yes, you did. You said it was. You said it was not.
David, you're too hard on me.
You know I'm giving you a hard time.
I know. 1-2 nonetheless for Tolia as he gets a piece of that one. Killam maybe caught a little bit too much of the plate and gave Tolia a good chance to put a drive into that. The 1-2, Killam from the stretch. Curveball. Breaks over the middle of the plate. Cameron Cannon can't field it cleanly, and Hayden Cantrell couldn't back him up either. The ball stays in the infield, but Michael Tolia will reach base with a hit. It is scored a hit over there when Cannon couldn't corral it. And now there's 1 man on and 1 man out for Zach Bierman.
Now batting the first baseman.
Tough hop for Cameron Cannon, but I think one that he should have had. Snuck between his legs, and now a runner over on first base. So Tolia 1 on, 1 out with Bierman coming up to the dish. He had a single back in the 3rd inning, but he's been a strikeout victim twice. He was one of Killam's 5 strikeouts, and he struck out looking back in the 7th inning.
First pitch swinging is Bierman, and he fouls it off to the left side. That one at the knees and right down the middle. Bierman saw it, and he liked it. Couldn't quite put it into fair territory.
Killam's been getting ahead of counts consistently.
The 0-1, swing and a miss. Bierman went around. He went about 60% of the way around, but it counts as a strike regardless. He now has Bierman down 0-2. Had Tolia down 0-2 before allowing that single over to third base. Looking to get Bierman either with a ground ball or another strike right here.
Bierman 6 extra base hits on the year, 4 doubles and 2 home runs. Killam checks over on first. Came into today batting an even 250, and so far through today, keeping it at 250, he's 1 for 4.
Very consistent hitter is Zach Bierman out of Coastal Carolina University. Eric Jones awaits on deck. Tolia is on first. The 1-2, breaking ball grounded towards the right side past the diving Edward Julian. Rounding second and heading to third is Tolia. Throw will be coming into third, fielded by Cannon. And staying over at third is Tolia. Bierman on base with a 1-out single. Now runners on the corners, only 1 out. Cotuit threatening here in the 9th.
The third baseman, Adam Davidson. Number 17, Eric Jones.
Double-digit hits for the Kettleers now. 2 back-to-back singles in the top of the 9th. And just finding holes in the infield. Tolia with a sharp hopper over to Cameron Cannon at third. And then Bierman past the sliding Edward Julian. We saw another gutsy throw from Williams down to third. We saw that throwing error back earlier in this game.
And that one is unfortunate because Julian would have made that play easily had it not been a double play situation, but he was in double play depth, so closer to the second base bag. Couldn't make it all the way over towards the right side. Once again, Cotuit catching a break. They've been finding all the right holes. I think they have 3 bloop singles. I mean, I don't want to say luck, but like they've gotten their fair shake from the baseball gods thus far. It looks like we'll have a pitching change. Coach Mike Landry coming out to remove Brent Killam from the game after he retired. What was this? The last 3 batters. He allows 2 singles back to back, allowed 3 singles overall, and now he will be replaced for Logan Reinhardt.
Logan Reinhardt pitched only a third of an inning against Chatham, but he came in a jam Runners on second and third. He walked the first batter he faced and then forced a flyout to Cameron Cannon at third, which ended, I believe, the 8th inning of that game. Reinhardt warming up, and another jam for him. As we've said, being a reliever is a thankless job. Sometimes you come in the biggest of jams. I mean, top 9, tie game, runners on first and third, 1 out. Reinhardt has little room for error.
Like I was saying about Killam, no room for error. You put one over the plate, could end the not end the ball game, but end things if your team can't respond. And now Logan Reinhardt has a similar situation in that he makes one mistake, even if it's not a big fly, even if it's just a base hit, it could put them in a hole that they can't get out of with only 1 inning to work with at bat. But that's why he's a reliever. He's trustworthy out of the pen. Jeff Trundy has now turned to 3 relievers. He first went to A.J. Block after Stone only pitched 3 innings. Then Brent Killam ate up a good amount of innings, and now Logan Reinhardt. Or excuse me, Declan Cronin was in between there as well. So 4 relievers that Coach Jeff Trundy has now gone to, and definitely benefiting from that off day yesterday, that rain out giving these arms another day of rest. So he's capable of going to this deep bullpen.
And Reinhardt did come in with 2 outs in the 8th inning against Chatham. Got that elusive out before Michael Otchek came in the 9th, gave up the solo shot that tied the game. And then Carson Spires finished out the last 2 and a third.
Meanwhile, tonight, Logan Reinhardt will have to face the heart of the Cotuit order. Eric Jones, Will Robertson, and if we get that far, Peyton Burdick. Eric Jones, the third baseman batting in the 3-hole, is 0 for 4 tonight. He struck out twice and has grounded out to second and flown out to right. Reinhardt, we can expect, will keep these pitches low, looking for the ground ball. A ground ball double play would be perfect here for the Commodores to get out of this one immediately. Righty-righty matchup between Reinhardt and Jones. First pitch is at the knee, strike 1.
We talked about Reinhardt's delivery against Chatham. He slowly brings back that arm and then he whiplashes it around. A slow first half of his rotation and a speedy second.
0-1 is the count to Jones. Reinhardt kicks and delivers this one. Tapped just foul along the left side, probably mercifully foul. It was so slowly hit that there would have been really no play but to first base had it gone fair towards Cameron Cannon. So 0-2, Reinhardt has Jones on the ropes and Robertson awaits on deck. Eric Jones, who is 0 for 4 tonight, but entered tonight with a .326 average. Watches an 0-2 fastball, just missed the outside corner, 1-2.
That's a good pitch from Reinhardt. Outside part of the plate, a little bit outside, trying to get Eric Jones to chase. I'm a big fan of the 2-strike fastball out of the zone.
Reinhardt from the stretch, kicks and delivers. The 1-2 grounded to short. Hayden Cantrell fields it cleanly, throws it to second. Julian with the relay over to first. Davis Sims makes the grab, and it is a 6-4-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered for Logan Reinhardt. The Commodores get out of this jam unscathed, and we head to the bottom of inning number 9, all knotted up at 6.
Fans, it's time to announce tonight's bag toss winner, John with
on the bump for the Cotuit Kettleers is Ryan Leffner, trying to push this one into extra innings. He'll have to face Cameron Cannon, CJ Schaefer, and Will Brennan. He delivers a first pitch fastball on the outside corner to Cannon, 0-1. Ryan Leffner has been all but lights out of the bullpen for Cotuit. He delivers a ball out of the zone. He's allowed no hits and only one base runner. That was an error that Davis Sims reached on off of Adam Oviedo. Other than that, he has been steady with fly ball outs and strikeouts. He delivers another pitch below the knees to CJ Schaefer, 2-1.
Cannon singled his last time up in the 6th.
Or excuse me, it is Cameron Cannon. My apologies. 2-2 now to Cannon after that off-speed pitch fell at the knees. CJ Schaefer, the DH, awaits on deck. Cannon grounds this one. Fair. No, not a fair ball. A foul ball over the third base bag. David, I got to say, that was fair.
Danny.
That was a fair ball.
Danny, you know I'm much more hesitant to get on the umps than you are.
Yeah.
That is a fair ball. I mean, that's a fair ball. You
Very
cannot blow that call in the bottom of the 9th. Hear me out.
Okay.
It chopped over the bag, and it landed clearly from where I am to the right of the line. I mean, it might have touched chalk, but if it touches chalk, it's still fair.
Very clearly
it's
on the
still
inside
fair.
of the chalk.
Holy moly.
Definitely a fair ball. I was calling it a fair ball right from the start, as Cannon taps this one clearly foul. So count remains at 2-2. And what's worse is that fell right in front of the third base umpire, Mickey Garcia. It's not like it was far away from him and he had to really, peel his eyes.
And the dugout was livid because they have a great angle over in the first base dugout, and they were fuming.
The 2-2 runs outside to Cannon, now 3-2. Cameron probably could have taken second base on that. He's not the speediest guy, but it was hit slow enough that up the third base line, he might have put himself into scoring position.
And I think Brett Becker is jawing with the third base umpire right now.
And Cannon watches that one on the outside corner, strike 3 called, so he goes from a sure double to now a strikeout victim for out number 1.
That is tough. That is tough, no doubt about it. And Danny, I'm going to speed through the rest of the Cape League real quick. I know I always like to try to do it. Bourne is up 13-zip on Brewster. Brewster in danger of dropping 7 straight. Wareham up 4-1 on Hyannis. Hyannis now in first in the West. Orleans up 8-2 on Harwich. Chatham up 3-1 on YD.
Nice speed.
That was quick. I mean, I knew I wanted to get it in there just because it's really important for the Commodores to keep an eye on the West Division, particularly Bourne and Cotuit, the two teams that they're trailing right now.
And Bourne leading and Cotuit in this game, obviously. This one, ground ball over to second base. Salvatore fields it and gets the out at first. So CJ Schaefer falls victim for the 4th time tonight. Will Brennan, the leadoff hitter, will come up to bat with 2 outs and nobody on. But don't count him out because back in inning number 6, all the runs for the Commodores came with 2 outs. They're no strangers to 2-out rallies, looking to put one together here in the 9th.
Trying to scrounge something together any way they can. Pressure for Will Brennan, who is 1 for 3 on the day.
First pitch he sees falls on the inside corner, strike 1. Man, this would just be a totally different 9th inning had that fair ball been called fair.
Yeah.
Instead it was called foul. Brennan dodges this one. It did not hit him. It's 1-1. I'm just shocked that with that angle it was called a foul ball, but a lot of those times split-second decision like you said. This one chopped over to the shortstop, Oviedo, but he can't field it cleanly. He tried to field it running in on his forehand. He may have been thrown off by the third baseman, Eric Jones, who got in front of the ball just before it hit Oviedo at short. And it's an E6, another error against Adam Oviedo. This one a fielding error, and Will Brennan will take his base 2 outs and 1 man on.
Weinstein coming out to the bump. We'll see if they go to the bullpen, but this is another perfect example of Falmouth just trying to find a way. I think that was actually on Eric Jones. I think that's Oviedo's ball through and through, and when he comes over and cuts off his shortstop's angle, I think that's what threw Oviedo off.
Exactly.
Should have had it nonetheless, but a runner on first and 2 outs on an E6. Now 3 errors for the Kettleers. We saw them take advantage of Chatham's errors. We saw them take advantage of Brewster's errors, trying to do the same here at home and push their win streak to 5.
Home plate umpire Jim Fonseca coming to break up the powwow. on the mound between the Kettleers infielders, Coach Weinstein, the catcher, and the pitcher for the Kettleers, as the Commodores trying to scrounge that final run out and win this one in dramatic fashion by a score of 7-6. They started off the scoring thanks to a solo shot off the bat of Kyle Stowers in inning number 2, but then inning number 3, a trio of singles from the Kettleers plated 3. They put another one across on a safety squeeze in the 4th. They put 2 across in the 6th. They were up 6-1, but a 5-run 6th inning thanks to a great 2-out rally from the Commodores, as this one gets away from the catcher Humphreys right between the wickets, and taking second base, threatening third, but holding up at second is Will Brennan. So a wild pitch puts the game-winning run in scoring position.
And that one nearly murdered our field mic. I don't know if you can hear it, but our field mic is propped right behind home plate, sticking through the grates in the metal fence. So
now with a runner on second, they're going to intentionally walk Hayden Cantrell. Going to opt instead to face the 3-hitter Stephen Williams. This is a curious one to say the least. Cantrell, who's been struggling at the plate, more of a walk guy than a hit guy. Yeah, if he puts one into the outfield, it will score Will Brennan, but with 2 outs, you might as well go after him. I mean, they're not putting the double play in order.
yeah, I'm all right with the move by the head coach of the Kettleers, Mike Roberts, but Falmouth clearly not a fan. You heard some hemming and hawing over in the first base dugout.
What's the beneficial aspect of that move, as it looks like Weinstein will come out again and we'll get a pitching change? But before we get to that pitching change, I'm flabbergasted. I mean, what do you get out of that other than a force out over at second, which isn't really necessary with 2 outs? And now you're facing Stephen Williams.
I understand that, but hard hit ball maybe up the middle, up the left side. Now you have a force at third, a force at second, and a force at first, as opposed to just a force at first. I understand it. I understand the frustration with Falmouth too. It's like, oh, this guy's not the best hitter in the world. He's not like it's our cleanup guy. But I think now you just have a force at 3 bases instead of 1. So I think logically it makes a decision. It makes sense in that way.
Shocking for me to say the least, seeing how Stephen Williams is coming up to bat as they go for the lefty-lefty matchup. And coming out of the pen for the Kettleers is Joseph Walsh. Joseph Walsh, a local guy. He's from Plymouth, Massachusetts, just a couple miles up to the north, just past the Bourne Bridge and on the mainland of Massachusetts. And he pitches at Boston College for the Eagles. He's a tall lefty standing at 6'1", and he'll be up to face the lefty Stephen Williams.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Walsh, a rising sophomore with the Eagles, went 2-1 in 2018 with a 6.68 ERA. He was the 2015 Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year, the first ever Gatorade Player of the Year from Plymouth North High School, looking to get the final out against Stephen Williams, with Davis Sims awaiting on deck if Williams manages to get on.
And a great situation for the Commodores. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs. Walsh has had 3 appearances this year. 5 innings pitched. He's let up 5 hits, but no earned runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. So a great summer so far for Walsh after a shaky freshman year out in Chestnut Hill, not Chapel Hill.
Right.
6.68 ERA, 32 and a third innings pitched, 27 strikeouts.
And he has his work cut out for him against Stephen Williams, the standout freshman himself from Auburn University. Stephen so far is 0 for 4 on the day with a strikeout and a ground out into a double play. He's 0 for his last 8. Watches a strike go by right down Broadway, 0-1. And that decision, we'll see if it pays off for Robertson and the Kettleers, or Roberts, and the Kettleers, where they opt to intentionally walk the 2-hitter to face the heart of the order with 2 outs. The 0-1. Strike on the inside corner. Beautiful pitch. Joey Walsh is painting.
Stephen Williams thought about a hack there, but held up As you said, beautiful pitch from Walsh, quickly up 0-2.
0-2, 2-on, 2-out in the 6-6 ball game here in the bottom of inning number 9. And Williams cracks this one right back up the middle. Slow roller coming over for it is Salvatore. He's got no play over at first base. The broken bat infield base hit for Steven Williams does the job. It only advances Will Brennan over to third. So now there are bases loaded, 2 outs. Davis Sims up at the plate. This is what you write about in a storybook.
Holy moly, right up the middle, a slow roller. I think Walsh thought it was going to be a routine play. Otherwise, we might have seen a little bit more effort from him trying to get back and slap down that ball, but I think he thought that his middle infielders, Oviedo and Salvatore, had a play. As you said, no play to be made right by second base. Now bases juiced for the cleanup man.
So slowly hit that Salvatore couldn't do anything. Now a righty-lefty matchup in favor of Davis Sims, and he cracks this one down the left field line, but foul. Just a little out ahead of the off-speed pitch, and Davis Sims nearly sent us home. Happy campers. Instead, he will have to face off once again against Joey Walsh down 0-1.
Us happy campers? We are totally unbiased.
I'm sorry,
announcers.
calling a walk-off would be fun.
Okay, fair.
I enjoy my walk-offs. 0-1 to Davis Sims. All he needs is to poke one into the outfield. He'll score Will Brennan, and the Commodores will win. He swings and misses at this off-speed pitch, now down 0-2. And would you look at that, 2 tough breaks for the Commodores. Cameron Cannon getting robbed of a base hit up the third base line. Now Davis Sims just a couple feet to the left of the foul line.
Walsh knew exactly what pitch to throw there. He knew Sims was going to be waiting on a fastball the whole time, out way in front of the changeup.
Some mind games from Joey Walsh. Now the 0-2 is a fastball, but it's blocked by Zach Humphreys. Davis Sims tells Will Brennan, hey, don't come down here. Zach Humphreys with his biggest defensive play of the game, keeping that one in front of him. That went through the wickets. Brennan scores, and this game is over. It's now 1-2 to Davis Sims. Like David said, the cleanup hitter, bases loaded, 2 outs, 2 strikes against him. Tie game in the bottom of inning number 9. You couldn't write it better. The dugout is alive. The crowd is alive. The 1-2 from Walsh. Grounded up the third base line, foul.
You can feel the hearts beating over the broadcast here at Gov Fuller Field. I can only imagine the nerves for Joey Walsh right now and the nerves for Davis Sims. 1-2 count, as you said, 2 outs, tie game. Falmouth trying to extend their winning streak. And I'm looking for another low pitch right here, try to get Sims to chase.
If you miss up high, to Davis Sims, he will make you pay. The 1-2 is up high, but a little too far up high. Sims lays off at the pitch around his neck. It's 2-2.
Just like I said, I'm looking for a high fastball here on 1-2.
Davis Sims just looking for anything to hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Sims with the bases juiced. Just need 1 run, do the Commodores. The 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled once again. Davis Sims on every single pitch, he's made contact with. He's been just a little out ahead of it and has fouled them off.
And this is pitch number 7 of the at-bat coming up to Davis Sims. This reminds me a lot of the Zach Bierman at-bat back in the 3rd inning. He worked a 9-pitch at-bat before getting a single.
Sims looking to replicate what Bierman did in the 3rd. The 2-2 from Walsh. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Davis Sims goes down swinging, and Joey Walsh works himself out of the jam of a lifetime, stranding the bases loaded and getting out of the 9th unscathed. We'll play extras here at Gov Fuller Field. Still knotted up at 6. Tied up at 6, we will play extras. The Falmouth Commodores were threatening in the bottom of inning number 9. Bases loaded, 2 outs with the cleanup hitter up, but Joey Walsh got the best of him, struck him out on the 10th pitch of the at-bat. This ball 1 is delivered by Logan Reinhardt to Will Robertson. Robertson, a cleanup hitter himself, playing right field for the Kettleers. Watches a strike on the outside corner. Robertson now batting from the left side. He is a switch hitter. Logan Reinhardt got a big third out. Now looking to work a clean 10th. He fires a strike at the knees. 1 and 2.
Man, that was an exciting 9th inning, top and bottom. Reinhardt getting out of the jam in the top of the 9th with the double play. Bases loaded, left stranded for the Commodores in the bottom of the 9th.
He throws a breaking ball that just misses. 2 and 2. Yeah, don't discount that top of the 9th for the Kettleers and the Commodore bullpen. Runners on the corners, 1 out, Logan Reinhardt got the double play. As he fires a fastball out of the zone. It's now 3 and 2 after going ahead of Will Robertson 1-2. He works the count full with Peyton Burdick on deck.
Robertson 1 for 3 on the day. His single was all the way back in the 3rd.
This is the second extra inning game in 3 games for the Commodores. They won in 11 against Chatham a few nights back. This one is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Will Robertson couldn't catch up to the letter-high fastball, and he goes down on strikes. Peyton Burdick now up with 1 out, looking to get on base for his team.
Now batting the center fielder from Wright State, number 12.
What great fight shown by the Commodores here tonight. They didn't get the result they wanted in the bottom of the 9th, but that 5-run 6th inning was one of the most impressive 2-out rallies I've seen by the Commodores this year. Yes, Cotuit made an error, but they took advantage.
First pitch is swung on and fouled away by Peyton Burdick. The resiliency of this team has been the biggest storyline of this 4-game win streak. Brewster, they didn't quite need it. They had those games in the bag all along. But against Chatham, just keep fighting back, grinding away in the 9th to tie up the game and then take the lead. They let up the lead and tied the game. You would think tying the game was Chatham. You would think that maybe the Commodores would settle down and say, let's just work for the tie. But no, they came back fighting. Maverick Hanley's home run gave them the win. And now tonight, doing whatever they could back in that 6th inning to get guys on base, keep them on base after the double play, and just keep runs across, capitalizing on the error by Salvatore, and then a couple of hits. Maverick Hanley just met with Logan Reinhardt to get on the same page. Reinhardt now from the windup, the 0-1. Breaking ball in the outside corner, no balls and 2 strikes.
I got to start keeping a stat of whether it's a ball or a strike after Hanley meets with the pitcher or Mike Landry. It seems like they do such a good job with the pitchers.
Fastball now grounded over towards the hole along the shortstop side. Hayden Cantrell with a long throw from that hole, but he gets the out just barely. Peyton Burdick slammed that foot down just as Davis Sims was squeezing the mitt, but the out goes against Burdick nonetheless. Hayden Cantrell with a nice backhanded play and a nice throw over to first for out number 2.
Man, I was worried for a sec that one was going to land in the parking lot. That throw from Hayden Cantrell, he's such a short guy. It seemed like he had such a high release point. I thought it was going to sail way over Sims's head, but Sims did a great job picking up one leg, keeping the other on the bag, stretching out as far as he could and making the catch.
Mike Salvatore watches ball number 1 outside. We've seen Davis Sims so effective at those long stretches and at reeling in baseballs that he's really got no business getting and still getting the out. He managed to do it there, lifting up one leg, like you said, and full extension to reel that in, as you're right. Hayden Cantrell completely whipped his arm well above his head, high release point. It's now 2-0 to Salvatore. Nobody on and 2 outs. Reinhardt just needing 1 out to push this to the bottom of the 10th, and he gets a strike on the outside corner.
And Reinhardt's been solid so far, too. The first batter he faced forced Eric Jones into a double play. Now 2 up, 2 down here in the 10th.
The 2-1 is fouled back up and over that screen that overhangs. 2-2. It's 1-1 in this matchup.
Yep.
But it's 2-2, more importantly, on the count, as Salvatore, who's 2 for 4 on the day. Ironically, those 2 hits, some of his softer hits, and his 2 outs were hard-hit line drives straight at Hayden Cantrell. He watches a fastball upstairs, count now full, 3-2.
2 full counts for Reinhardt in this 10th inning. Salvatore almost went around on that high cheddar.
Logan Reinhardt's slider has been really killing it, and he throws a fastball instead on the outside corner. Salvatore fights it off to stay alive. Reinhardt has thrown some good breaking pitches. Like I said, that slider has been hitting its spot. He's gone to the fastball a couple times now against Salvatore with 2 strikes. See what he goes with here. 3-2, 2 outs, nobody on in this tie ball game in the top of the 10th. It's another fastball, and it's popped up high in the air along the third base side. Cameron Cannon calls for it, and in foul territory, he makes the grab to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Logan Reinhardt, and coming back up to the plate, looking to end this one in walk-off fashion are the Commodores. We're tied up at 6, getting ready for the bottom of the 10th. Kyle Stowers will kick things off in the home half of inning number 10 for the Falmouth Commodores, who are looking to walk it off for the first time all summer. They're tied up at 6 tonight against the Cotuit Kettleers. Joey Walsh coming out for his first full inning of work. He got the 1 out in the 9th inning that turned out to be the biggest out probably of this game when he struck out Davis Sims with the bases loaded to end the 9th. He delivers a first pitch ball inside, now a second pitch ball outside to Stowers.
And if there's one man who might cause these Cotuit Kettleers to tremble, it is Kyle Stowers.
He grounds this one towards the right side. Diving and making the play is Mike Salvatore, but he has no time to get the throw over to first base. Kyle Stowers reaches first on an infield single. No throw from Salvatore, who made a great effort getting it to stay in the infield, not get into the outfield, but not much you can do when you're diving and making the stop and you've got the speedy Stowers running down first base.
And I think that's a smart decision to eat it there, because if he tries to force that throw and it sails, all of a sudden you got a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Obviously, if he was maybe shaded a little bit more towards the first base bag, he would have gotten there quicker, but hindsight's always 20/20.
Maverick Hanley stepping up to the dish with his teammate from Stanford on first, who barely dives back into first base safely. And they are calling a balk. Jim Fonseca, the home plate umpire, realized that Joey Walsh actually on that real slick pickoff move balked off the mound. He came straight out and pointed Stowers over to second base, made no mistake on that balk call. I'm not quite sure where Joey Walsh misstepped, but evidently he did not deserve that beautiful pickoff move to first. He had cheated just quite a little bit, and Stowers goes from nearly being picked off first base to taking second.
Yeah, I missed that balk too. I was too busy looking over at first because Stowers was so far off the bag, he barely snuck back in. But now runner in scoring position, no outs.
And it had initially looked that over at first, Bierman, who looked pretty upset, thought that he had the out call, but I'm starting to think that he was upset with the balk call. He just, mind blown by that.
Eric Jones in particular over at third seemed upset as well.
Now the first pitch to Maverick Hanley after a pair of pickoffs is a breaking ball over the plate for strike number 1.
How about Maverick Hanley up at bat, the hero on Tuesday against Chatham with a 2-run home run in the top of the 11th inning, now up in a great position in the 10th.
That breaking ball does not break. It's now 1-1 to Handley. Edward Julian, who had that big 2-run double in inning number 6, awaits on deck. So you've got some pretty solid bats awaiting here for the Commodores. All they need is to put Stowers on across home plate for the victory. He's in scoring position. The 1-1 to Handley. Tapped ground ball up to Salvatore at second base. He fields it cleanly. Throw on to first. Gets Handley by a step. Maverick does advance Kyle Stowers over to third base. So now all the Commodores need is a fly ball deep enough into the outfield to score Stowers, and they will win this ball game.
From Auburn, number 43, Edward Julian.
And this is where Edward Julian, if possible, needs to shorten up that swing, right?
Yeah.
He does not need to hit this one to Canada. He just needs to get it
Back
to the
home.
outfield. If it's shallow, the outfielders might have a play. We're looking at Jacob Goldfarb in left, Peyton Burdick in center, Will Robertson in right. But this is a position where he does not need to hit it to the moon.
First pitch to Julian. He takes that huge hack in which he tries to hit it to the moon and Canada in one fell swoop. But he comes up empty. It's 0-1 to Julian. The infield is in, the outfield in as well. All three outfielders playing no doubles defense, hoping that if a fly ball is shallow enough, they will have a play at the plate, and that if a ground ball somehow squeaks through the hole, they'll somehow be able to get a play at the plate. As Julian watches that slider for strike number 2. Now 0-2 to Eddie Julian, at risk of making the second out of the inning.
And a great start to this at-bat for Joey Walsh. Getting out in front of Julian. He knows he likes to swing, and then held him up on that 0-1 pitch right in the outside part of the plate. I want to go back to that Hanley ground ball. If that was someone faster, he might have beat that one out, too.
Oh, yeah.
Hanley's not the fastest guy in the world, and he was chugging down there as fast as he could. Still a really close play. A couple tough plays for Salvatore here in the bottom of the 10th.
Hanley quick for a catcher. We saw him leg out a single in the 6th. Couldn't leg that one out. The 0-2 to Julian, swung on and missed strike 3. Eddie Julian goes down swinging for the second time tonight. And in a huge spot, the Auburn Tiger is unable to deliver it. Now it comes down to Cameron Cannon, 2 outs and a runner on third.
And looks like Weinstein and Cotuit is going to the bullpen. So that will do it for Joey Walsh. He's responsible for the runner on third.
Walsh, the lefty, will not face a righty right now. They're opting for a right-handed pitcher out of the bullpen.
It is number 50, Stephen Schock. He's a rising senior at UMBC, a college you probably hadn't heard of until about March of this past year.
Yep.
UMBC Golden Retrievers, first 16 seed in the history of the men's college basketball tournament. D1, that is, to beat a number 1 seed. They beat UVA. He stands at 6'3", 190. He had a great 2018 during his sophomore campaign, 7-2. 3.32 ERA, 14 starts, 1 complete game, 76 innings pitched, 85 strikeouts. So impressive stats. Excuse me, I read the wrong stats.
Yeah, I was looking at my stats and I was
Yep.
confused.
All right, swing and a miss on that one. He's 6'5", 235.
There we go.
During his
more
junior
posting.
year, also had a great year. 172 ERA, 2-6 record, and 57 2/3 innings pitched. So sorry for the confusion there, but an ERA under 2, that's all you really need to know. He's 6'5", so he can get some speed and some mustard on his fastball.
And a great strikeout to innings ratio as well. 71 Ks compared to 19 walks, and that's 71 strikeouts through just about 58 innings pitched. That is an electrifying statistic for Schock, the Appalachian State transfer, now UMBC Golden Retriever, and he's just looking to get 1 out here, just like Joey Walsh had gotten in the 9th inning. Facing the righty Cameron Cannon, the Arizona Wildcat. Cannon had an RBI single back in inning number 6 that tied the game, and that was the last run we've seen from either side tonight. That was the final run in that 2-out rally. And Cannon looking to put across the final run of the night right here in the bottom of the 10th inning.
Falmouth trying to continue their win streak. They've won 4 straight. Cotuit, on the other hand, 6-4 in their last 10.
Infield and outfield both playing straight up with 2 outs. A base hit into the outfield and running on contact Stowers would score him. The side armor Shock delivers a first pitch ball off the outside corner. This is going to be tough for Cannon.
Yeah, righty-righty matchup and a righty side armor on the mound.
That low arm angle, really tough to pick up when you bat from that side as well, as this one settles on the outside corner for a strike, 1-1.
Big spot for Cannon. Again, doesn't need to kill it, just needs a single, and Falmouth will win this game.
The 1-1 to Cameron Cannon. High leg kick from Shock. That one runs well outside, 2-1. If you're Cannon, you just got to rely that the baseball is going to break over from the inside of the plate over to the outside half of the plate. That's typically how the trajectory goes for side armors. Cannon ahead 2-1. And he fouls this one up and over the screen. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cameron Cannon.
Cannon probably not used to side armors throwing against him, but you got to protect here with 2 strikes, 2 outs. Can't strike out looking. Just try to get your bat on it and hope to find a hole.
He's batting close to the inside part of that plate, seeing how these balls keep running far away to the outside. Not choking up at all. Staying resilient to his typical hand grip on his bat. The 2-2 from Shock, swung on grounder, back up the middle. That will fall for a base hit. Kyle Stowers comes in to score, and Cameron Cannon is the hero of this one. A 2-out, 2-strike single in the bottom of the 10th wins the game for the Commodores. They mob him over at first base, and Falmouth, after being down 6-1, storm back in the 6th to tie it up, and then win it here in the 10th by a score of 7-6. What a crazy game for the Commodores, and what a way to continue the winning streak and push it to 5.
Falmouth have been the cardiac kids this year. They now have 5 games by 1 run. They have a couple of 1-run wins. Their last game on Wednesday, they won 1-0 against Orleans. Obviously, they win 7-6 here, and they've lost a couple heartbreakers too. They lost 1-0 to YD, 2-1 to Hyannis, and this is so sweet. Pushes the win streak to 5, and I saw a few things today. First of all, that 5th run, 6th inning. All of those runs coming with 2 outs. Great resiliency, as we talked about. After runners on 1st and 2nd and no outs, Falmouth did not give up. They did not give in, and especially from the pitching as well. Brent Killam and Logan Reinhardt were outstanding. And then here in the 10th, it wasn't pretty, but they got it done. They got Stowers over to 3rd base, and then Cannon. Maybe not the walk-off hit he was dreaming of, but it gets right over Shock at the mound, up the middle. Falmouth wins.
Textbook from Cameron Cannon. Perfect hitting, just hitting it right back through the box. Didn't get all of it, but he blasted it over the head of Shock on a ground ball and past the diving Adam Oviedo at short for the victory. It was 2 hits and 1 run scored in that 10th inning that gave the Commodores the win. The final lines, 7 runs on 8 hits and 1 error for the Falmouth Commodores, 6 runs on 10 hits and 3 errors for the Cotuit Kettleers. So importantly, the Commodores once again out-hit, but the bullpen getting out of jams. And once again, the Commodores forcing the opposing team to commit errors, this time 3 errors for Cotuit. And like we say, this entire season, really, but this entire win streak as well. Force errors, good things will happen. Good things have been happening thanks to these errors and thanks to timely hitting for the Commodores. Once again, it's Cameron Cannon, the hero, and the Falmouth Commodores winning in 10 by a score of 7-6. For David Korzanowski and my producer, Eliza Laycock, I'm Daniel LaRose. Thanks for tuning into this broadcast of Falmouth Commodore Baseball. We'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Bourne Braves. Once again, the Commodores walk-off winners in 10. Thanks for tuning in, and have a pleasant good evening.